opening their ASUN conference play for the 2022 campaign. The visiting Gamecocks from Jacksonville State University, part of the ASUN, and enter today's contest with a season record of 4 wins and 10 losses. First action in conference play today on the 2022 season. Meanwhile, the Bisons, also from the ASUN, have a season record of 10 wins and 7 losses, also getting their first action in conference play today. Last time out on Tuesday, the Bisons won a slugfest at Tennessee Tech, defeating the Eagles 21-7 in their midweek action. Let's take a look at today's starting lineups. First, for the visiting Gamecocks from Jacksonville State. Leading off, second baseman, number 3, Cole Frederick. Batting second, center fielder, number 2, T.J. Reeves. Batting third, right fielder, number 30, Carson Crow. Batting fourth, doing the catching, number 13, Alex Carignan. Batting fifth, first baseman, number 23, Alex Strachan. Batting sixth, third baseman, number 8, Brennan Norton. Batting seventh, designated hitter, number 10, Derrick Jackson. Batting eighth, left fielder, number 21, Mason Mainers. And batting ninth at shortstop, number 6, Isaac Alexander. Starter on the mound today will be the junior right-hander, Isaiah Magwood, number 9. The head coach for the Gamecocks is Jim Case, who's in his 21st season. He's assisted by Evan Bush, Mike Murphy, and Kyle Cameron. And now the starting lineup for the homestanding Lipscomb Bisons. Leading off in right field, number 21, John Shields. Batting second, center fielder, number 19, Maddox Houghton. Batting third, designated hitter, number 35, Mason Lundgren. Batting fourth, first baseman, number 44, Malik Williams. Batting fifth, left fielder, number 13, Rudy Maxwell. Batting sixth, third baseman, number 30, Trace Wilhoit. Batting seventh, second baseman, number 23, Ethan Stamps. Batting eighth, doing the catching, number 1, Chaz Bertolani. And batting ninth, shortstop, number 8, Caleb Ketchup. Starter on the mound today for the Bisons, a season record of 1 win, 1 loss, and an ERA of 3.78, will be the sophomore right-hander Caleb Cantola. Head coach for the Bisons is Jeff Forehand. He's in his 16th season as head coach of the Bisons. He's assisted by pitching coach Matt Myers, hitting coach Ryan Price, director of baseball operations Brian Ryman, volunteer assistant Will Hawks, director of player development Adam Weiss, director of baseball analytics Ryan Moretti, and the assistant director of baseball operations Madeline Hoswell. The Bison's head groundskeeper is Colby Rawls, and the head baseball athletic trainer is Clint Woods. Our umpires for today's game, Stephen Hagan will be behind the plate, Bob Howard at first base, and Matthew Barrett at third base. And the weather right now at Ken Dugan Field, the sun has poked out in between the clouds. We've had rain earlier today here in Nashville, but partly cloudy skies right now and sunshine, a temperature of 65 degrees. It is quite windy. The wind is blowing steadily out of the south between 17 and 20 miles per hour. That'll mean it'll be coming out of straightaway center field and blowing towards the left field line, something we'll keep an eye on. We do expect that the wind will remain a factor throughout the game, and we're expecting some rain again tonight. This game was originally scheduled for a 6 p.m. start and was moved up to 3 p.m. in order to avoid that threat of weather. So we'll keep an eye on the weather forecast for you. If you're in the area, come on out to the ballpark. We've still got seats available. Good crowds gathering for the first game of the conference play for these two teams, and we'd love to see you at the ballpark. If not today, one of the two games over the weekend. The two teams will play a single game tomorrow with a 2 p.m. start, and then the series finale will be on Sunday, also at 1 p.m. We'll have all 3 of those games for you live here on YouTube Live. First ever meeting between these two programs. Jacksonville State was formerly in the ASUN Conference, but departed back in 2003. They've been in the Ohio Valley Conference, where they played most recently up until last year. And now they returned to the ASUN. When they were in the ASUN previously, Lipscomb was not in the ASUN. So again, first ever meeting between these two teams, although the Gamecocks have come to Nashville to play previously, as they were playing against Belmont, who is also a member of the OVC and located just a few miles down the road here. So the Gamecocks are no stranger to Nashville, but their first ever appearance here at Ken Dugan Field. The two teams will play each other later in the season, April 22nd through 24th. They'll be playing at Rudy Abbott Field at Jim Case Stadium in Jacksonville on that return matchup with this year's format of a home series and an away series. Each team in the ASUN will play 30 conference games this year, with 5 series at home and 5 away. against the same common opponents of the East Division and respective West Division. Jacksonville State in that West Division with the Bisons, and we'll talk more about that as we get into our broadcast today. But first ever meeting between these two schools, and we're expecting a good series between the two teams. Before we get set for baseball action this afternoon, the Bisons are going to take the field here momentarily. And as they do, we'll step aside for just a moment so that we can all enjoy together our nation's national anthem. That's our national anthem play today. Coach Forehand about the Bison's big 21-7 win over Tennessee Tech in the midweek game, and then what to expect from this Jacksonville State ball club. And he's expecting a good series. Jacksonville State off to a 4-10 start. They've played a good schedule, and so told us he expects a tough series between these two teams. Getting the start on the mound today for the Bisons, the sophomore right-hander Caleb Cantola. Caleb, a 6'6", 210-pounder out of Monmouth, Oregon. Previously played at Chiquita Community College. It's his first season here with Lipscomb. And this will be his 5th start on the season. He's had 4 starts already. He comes in with a record of 1 win, 1 loss, an ERA of 3.78. He's pitched a total of 16 2/3 innings, given up 12 hits, 7 runs, 7 earned runs, walked 15, and struck out 22. Opposing batters are batting just .200 against Cantola. So Caleb Cantola getting the start on the mound for the Bisons today. Cantola, a hard-throwing right-hander. He'll come right at hitters with a fastball, a slider, and a changeup. Also can show a curveball from time to time. And so Cantola has been off to a solid start here in his first season. Showed some control issues last week in his start against Georgia, which was exceedingly unusual for him, but that was something that played the Bisons as a whole last weekend as they dropped those 3 games to Georgia. Friday's game was by a score of 8-3, 9-2 on Sunday, and then a second game on Sunday, also a 9-5 score. The two teams did not play on Saturday due to weather in the Athens area. But then they had the big midweek win against Tennessee Tech and are now hosting Jacksonville State. So we'll get things started with Cole Frederick, the senior second baseman, comes in batting .241, 1 home run and 9 RBIs on the season, and he'll get set to face the first pitch from Caleb Cantola as we get started with baseball action here at Ken Dugan Field. We're glad you're with us. And swings and fouls the first pitch back for strike one. Defensively for the Bisons, Maxwell's in left, Houghton's in center, Shields in right, Wilhoit at third, Ketchup at short, Stamps at second, Malik Williams at first, Chaz Bertolani doing the catching today, and sophomore Caleb Cantola on the mound for the Bisons. The 0-1 swings through that one high and tight. It's 0-2. It'll be Frederick followed by Reeves and Crow here in the top of the first inning for the Gamecocks. The 0-2 from Cantola. Swings and hits it back up the middle to Cantola. He gloves it. He's going to flip over to first, and that'll be the first out of the inning. So that'll bring up the center fielder, T.J. Reeves. Reeves has the highest batting average in the starting lineup today. He's batting .333 through the first 14 games. He's got 3 homers and 12 RBIs, and both of those totals lead the club. So Reeves off to a very solid start for Coach Jim Case and this Jacksonville State baseball team. First pitch from Cantola is a slider through there for a strike. You'll notice the Bison's into a shift here. The third baseman Wilhoit pulled over towards the line. Shortstop Ketchup in the hole, and second baseman Stamps is on to the third base side of second base. So a heavy shift to the pull side in the infield. That's a breaking ball that's hit back foul out of play. And again, Cantola getting ahead quickly. The Gamecock hitters coming up there swinging the bat. They clearly want to be aggressive at the plate. They come in hitting just .232 as a team. But again, Coach Forehand mentioning to us a talented roster with a lot of veteran talent. Here comes the 0-2, and that's a fastball that's going to miss high. It'll be the first ball of the day from Cantola. It'll take the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Gamecocks hitting .232 as a team. They have hit 13 home runs and 63 RBIs on the season for the squad. And here comes the 1-2 from Cantola. Bounces up there, and it'll be 2 balls and 2 strikes as Bertolani blocks that. Bison's pitching staff currently with an ERA of 5.49 on the season. For the season, in 146 innings, they've struck out 167 batters, but they've walked 114. Here comes the 2-2. That one's going to miss high and outside, and so after getting ahead 0-2, Reeves has worked the count full, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Showing a lot of patience at the plate for the junior T.J. Reeves. Here comes the payoff pitch. And that's going to miss downstairs, and that'll be the first walk of the day. And Reeves is going to jog down to first. Ball gets away from Bertolani, but he will not try to advance. And that'll bring up right fielder Carson Crow. Crow Jr. hitting .196. He has 2 home runs and 6 RBIs. One of 2 left-handed batters in the lineup today against the right-hander Caleb Cantola. We'll also tell you that Reeves at first base, 3 out of 5 on the season in stolen bases. As a team, Gamecocks are 12 out of 15, as opposed to the Bisons, who are 29 out of 37. The Bisons tended to run more early in the season here. Modest lead at first. The first pitch swung on and foul straight back, and so for the 3rd straight hitter, the Gamecocks come up aggressive at the plate. Appears that's the strategy early in the count here, is to go up there and be aggressive. So no balls, 1 strike on Crow. Carignan waits on deck. Back to a little bit more of a traditional alignment here. The shortstop Ketchup is flared up the middle. So again, Bison's heavily employing the shift here early in the first inning. Throw will go to first, and Reeves will get back easily. Crow starting in right field today. Got 4 seniors and 2 juniors starting in the lineup for Coach Case, so a veteran lineup here for the Gamecocks. Throws again, going to go to first, and he's going to dive back in. T.J. Reeves has now reached base in 14 of the 15 games this season for the Gamecocks, and he has hits in 12 of those 15 games. Multiple hit games 4 different times, so he's been the offensive spark plug for this team. He is not running, and that's an off-speed pitch that's going to miss inside. It'll be a ball and a strike on Crow. We mentioned the Gamecocks with a tough early season schedule. They open up with 3 games at Kentucky at home and lost those 3, followed with losses at Alabama and on the road at Southern Mississippi. So 6 straight losses to start the season. They've played 500 ball since then, going 4-4. Off-speed pitch is going to be in there for a strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Crow. Last week, or correction, 2 weekends ago, they hosted Siena and won all 3 of those games. They then lost a road game to Troy. And last weekend, lost a 3-game series to South Alabama, but 2 of those games were 1-run games. They lost by a score of 7-6 on Saturday and 4-3 on Sunday. So they've been playing better baseball. Check swing, did he go? And they're going to say yes, he did. So that'll be the first strikeout of the day for Cantola, as Crow is down on strikes, and that'll be 2 outs now, and Carignan will bat. Carignan, the catcher, is a senior. He's batting .208 on the season, 1 homer and 4 RBIs. So Jacksonville State playing solid competition again. First 7 games of the season were 3 against Kentucky, 3 on the road at Southern Miss, and 1 against Alabama. And so tough competition right out of the chute for Coach Case as they now get into conference play. Fastball swung on and again fouled back. So you see Cantola attacking the zone, and the Gamecock hitters responding and swinging the bat early in the count here, forcing the action. No balls, 1 strike. 2 outs, runner at first. We're playing in the top of the first inning between Jacksonville State and Lipscomb. He's running. Here's the 0-1. It's high. Throw down to second is also going to be high, and he's going to have a stolen base for TJ Reeves. That'll be his 4th steal on the season. Pitch was a high fastball for a ball. Bertolani turned it around quickly, but his throw to second was high. Stamps had to go up and get it. And so Reeves will be in scoring position with 2 outs for Carignan. The count will be a ball and a strike. Strachan waits on deck if Carignan can extend the inning here. Good jump for Reeves. He showed good speed on that stolen base. The 1-1 is like a slider that stays high, and it's 2 balls, 1 strike to Carignan. Again, we mentioned the wind's going to be potentially a factor here today. It's blowing between 17 and 20 miles per hour straight out of center field towards the left field line. So a very strong southerly flow. And as we mentioned, there's already been some weather through here today. We're expecting some bad weather later on. So we'll keep an eye on that as we go through the game. Lights are on here at the field. Currently partly cloudy skies. Here comes the 2-ball, 1 strike pitch to Carignan. Swings through the fastball, 2-2. So far, Cantola has thrown the fastball pretty effectively. His breaking stuff has been a little bit more irregular. We'll see how they elect to pitch here with 2 outs, a runner in second. He reached via the walk earlier in this inning, and he is TJ Reeves, and he got to second via the stolen base. The 2-2 pitch. Swings and taps it off the fist toward third. Will Hoyt's going to glove it, throw on the run, and he got him for the 3rd out of the inning. Nice play, Will Hoyt. Nothing doing for the Gamecocks in the top of the first inning as they strand 1 runner. And we'll head to the bottom of the first. No score between Jacksonville State and Lipscomb. You're watching Lipscomb Bison's Baseball on YouTube Live. We head to the home half of the first inning. It'll be John Shields, Maddox Houghton, and Mason Lundgren to face junior right-hander Isaiah Magwood. Magwood, a 6'5", 190-pounder out of Hazel Green, Alabama. Played at Hazel Green High School. Comes in with his second start of the season, 5th appearance overall. He has a record of 1 win, no losses, 2.30 ERA, 15 2/3 innings pitched. He's given up 13 hits, 4 runs, 4 earned. He's walked 7, struck out 17. And opposing hitters batting .241 against Magwood, and he'll face the hot-hitting John Shields. Shields now batting .340 on the season. He's got 3 homers and 10 RBIs, and he'll look at a fastball that will stay high for ball 1. Shields, as I said, has been off to a red-hot start in the series. Last time he was here, he hit a grand slam to the opposite field in a Sunday ball game. That's going to be back to the screen, and it'll even account at a ball and a strike. Defensively for the Gamecocks, Mainers is in left, Reeves in center, Crow in right. Norton is at third base, Alexander at short, Frederick at second, Strachan at first, Carignan behind the plate, and Magwood on the mound. And he throws a off-speed pitch that catches the corner, and it'll be a ball and 2 strikes to John Shields. Shields has really provided a lot of energy at the top of this lineup. He misses inside with a very live fastball there, and it'll be 2 balls and 2 strikes on John. So here comes the 2-2. That's a breaking ball just off the plate. Good pitch, but he just missed with it. It'll be 3 balls, 2 strikes to John Shields. Again, Magwood working quickly here, which makes his fielders happily, undoubtedly. That's fouled back, and the count will remain 3 balls and 2 strikes. So the Bisons coming off that big midweek win against Tennessee Tech. They won that one at 21-7. The 3-2 hit high in the air behind home plate. I think this is going to stay in play. The catcher, Carignan, is tossing the mask away, and he is going to catch it there for the first out of the inning. So Shields is retired. That'll bring up Maddox Houghton. Houghton in center field today, his familiar spot. It's batting .296 on the season, 1 home run and 9 RBIs. As a team, the Bisons up to .292. They have really been swinging it well, and even in the series at Georgia, were able to put some hits together, and certainly a big offensive output against Tennessee Tech on Tuesday. So the Bisons have some guys up and down the lineup who are off to a good start, and Houghton is certainly one of those. Swung on and hits the first pitch foul. So both teams coming out aggressive early. Pitchers working in the zone with fastballs, and the hitters coming up there looking to hit something. So 0-1 to Houghton. Now it's going to stay high, and that'll even the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. So Magwood's first season in Jacksonville was 2019. He made his debut on the opening week of the season, and he was the number 2 starter in the rotation. That's hit down the right field line. That's curving towards the line, and it's going to get down for extra bases. Crow's over there to cut it off. Ball still rattling around. Houghton is going to pull up into second, and he's going to have a double. So Houghton going with that pitch, hit it all the way down the line. Wasn't sure if it would stay fair or not, but it stayed just inside the line. Crow with a long run to pick it up, bobbled it for a moment, but showed a strong arm and got it back in. And Houghton is at second base with 1 out for Mason Lundgren. And Lundgren is the hottest hitter on the team. He comes in batting .388, no homers but 12 RBIs on the season. And he has really been seeing the ball well lately, has Mason Lundgren. Lundgren, a sophomore out of Salina, Kansas, from Neosho County Community College. Swings and hits the first pitch foul and out of play, 0-1. Against Tennessee Tech, he was 1 for 2 with a couple RBIs. Was 4 for 12 last weekend at Georgia, so Lundgren has been swinging the hot bat for the Bisons. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. As Houghton gets his lead from second. Shortstop Alexander shading behind him. That's on the inside corner. Good spot, 0-2. Malik Williams waits on deck for the Bisons. We're playing in the bottom of the first inning. No score between Jacksonville State and Lipscomb. Both teams starting their conference play. First ASUN game of the year for these two teams. Here comes the 0-2 pitch to Mason Lundgren. Fastball just off the plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes. So we mentioned Magwood coming in 2019, making his season debut. Ended up making 18 appearances on the mound. During that 2019 season, he threw 55 2/3 innings with 64 strikeouts against 30 walks. The 1-2. Swung on and hit into right field. That's going to be down for a base hit. They are going to wave Houghton around third. Ball is again bobbled by Crow, and he's going to score, and the Bisons lead 1-0. So Crow just a little slow to pick that one up, and that's an RBI base hit by Mason Lundgren, and the Bisons have their second hit of the inning and their first run of the day. And that'll bring up Malik Williams. Again, good piece of hitting there. Lundgren on time. Didn't try to do too much with it, just drove it out into right field. Houghton with good speed. Would have been a close play, I think, had Crow picked that up cleanly, but nonetheless, it's the second hit of the inning, and the Bisons lead 1-0, and Malik Williams comes in batting .364 on the season, 4 home runs and 23 RBIs, both of which lead the club. And he has also been off to a terrific start for the Bisons. He's got a 9-game hitting streak on the line here today, and he looks at an off-speed pitch that's through there for strike 1. Malik was 2 for 4 against Tennessee Tech on Tuesday with 3 RBIs, had a base hit in every game against Georgia. So Malik Williams has really been swinging at well to start his senior campaign. That's an off-speed pitch also through there, 0-2. So Magwood gets ahead of Williams with Lundgren running at first. And Lundgren's 1 for 3 on steal attempts on the season. We mentioned how the Bisons as a team like to run. They have 29 out of 37 on the season. Not running here, and that's hit into right field. That's going to get down for a base hit. Lundgren has to hold up and make sure. But Malik Williams is aboard with a single. It's the third Bison's hit of the inning. Really good piece of hitting there from Williams. Outside fastball, didn't try to do too much with it. He's such a strong hitter that he pokes it off the end of the bat and is aboard with a single. So 2 on and 1 out for Rudy Maxwell. And Rudy also off to a terrific start on his graduate year campaign. He's .348 on the average, 3 homers and 18 RBIs for Maxwell. Maxwell was 3 for 3 with 5 RBIs against Tennessee Tech on Tuesday. He really had a day to remember there. Did homer in last Sunday's game against Georgia. The second game, he was 2 for 5 in that game. He sees an off-speed pitch through there for a strike, 0-1. Maxwell playing in left field today. Again, he's been alternating between left field and catcher. Graduate transfer from Duke, played 3 seasons with the Blue Devils. The 0-1 pitch, fastball misses down and away, 1 ball and 1 strike. Trace Wilhoit would be next for the Bisons. Again, we're in the bottom half of the first inning. Lipscomb leading 1-0. They've got 3 hits in the inning, and they've got runners on first and second. That would be Lundgren at second and Malik Williams at first. And Rudy Maxwell awaits a 1-1 pitch from Isaiah Magwood. Swung on and hit toward the right side. That's heading toward the seats, and it's going to get out of play, and that'll make the count a ball and 2 strikes. So we do see a shift on here for the Gamecocks against Maxwell. The third baseman, Norton, is almost on the line. The shortstop swung over towards the hole, and the second baseman, Frederick, is playing almost directly up the middle. So big hole on the right side if Rudy were able to direct something to that side. But he's down in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes against Isaiah Magwood, the junior right-hander who gets to start today for Coach Case and the Gamecocks. There's the 1-2. Swings through a breaking ball there, strike 3. So good pitch from Magwood, and he'll win that battle. It'll be his first strikeout of the day and the second out of the inning, and that'll bring up Trace Wilhoit, the third baseman. Wilhoit batting .281 on the season, 2 homers and 10 RBIs. And he currently has a streak of reaching base in 10 straight games. That hit from Malik Williams will extend his hitting streak to 10 games now. And Wilhoit would love to keep the inning going here for the Bisons. Stamps waits on deck. Breaking ball in there for a strike, 0-1. So far Magwood has shown the ability to throw that slider for a strike. He's typically bringing it from the inside on these right-handed hitters. The Bisons with only 2 lefties in the lineup today, Shields and Lundgren. Everybody else swinging it from the right side. as Magwood gets set to bring the 0-1. Fastball, and he gets the call at the outside corner of the plate. Catcher didn't move, and Stephen Hagan said, yep, I think that one's close enough. We're going to call it a strike. So Wilhoit's down 0-2. So give credit to Magwood. He's bounced back after giving up 3 base hits and made some good pitches to Maxwell, struck him out, and now he's ahead of Wilhoit, 0-2, with 2 on and 2 out. That's hit into left center field. Mainers is going over. It's going to hang up in the air, and he's going to glove it for the 3rd out of the inning. So the Bisons strand 2, but they do score 1 run on 3 hits. There were no errors. And at the end of the 1st inning, your score, Lipscomb 1 and Jacksonville State 0. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. We head to the top half of the 2nd inning. It's 5, 6, and 7 for the Gamecocks, coming out to face Caleb Cantola, who gave up 1 walk and had 1 strikeout in the 1st inning here. So we head to the top of the 2nd with Lipscomb leading Jacksonville State 1-0. Strachan leads things off. He's the senior doing first base today, batting .212 on the season, 3 homers and 10 RBIs. Those 3 home runs tied for the lead on the club. He looks at a slider through there. 4 strike 1. So Cantola, we mentioned, the 6'6", 210-pound youngster out of Oregon, Monmouth, Oregon. He played at Central High School, where he was a 4-time academic all-star in addition to being an outstanding pitcher. And he lays off the slider there. First base umpire Bob Howard says he did not go, and that'll make the count a ball and a strike. He was the Oregon State Class 5A Pitcher of the Year in his senior year in high school. And first year here in Nashville. That one's going to miss high and inside, so it'll be 2 balls and 1 strike. And Strachan, Norton, and Johnson here are due up to face Caleb Cantola. He swings and hits that one foul down the 3rd base line. Fastball that he turned on quickly, and the count will be 2 balls and 2 strikes. So we mentioned first meeting ever between the Gamecocks and the Bisons, as the Jacksonville State new to the A-Sun this year, along with Eastern Kentucky and Central Arkansas, and all 3 of those teams in the Western Division with Lipscomb. So lots of new opponents for the Bisons and new stadiums for the Gamecocks to play in this year as well. Here comes the 2-2, and he swings through that slider and just gets a piece of it. It'll keep the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. We mentioned Coach Jim Case. He's in his 21st season at Jacksonville State. He's won over 600 games there. Career record of 623 and 508 for Coach Case. He was the 2019 OVC Coach of the Year, and that one must have missed outside. It was 3 balls and 2 strikes now. The Gamecocks have had a great run of success under Coach Case's leadership. They've won more than 30 games every year but 2. One of those was last year, and that's a breaking ball that's going to stay high. Be the 2nd walk of the day for Cantola, and the leadoff man will be aboard at first and bring up Derrick Johnson. Or correction, Brendan Norton, rather, is batting. I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself there. Strachan is the one that just drew the walk, and this brings up Brendan Norton. Norton is freshman 3rd baseman. He's batting .226, 1 homer, 5 RBIs. There are no stolen base attempts on the season for Strachan, so we'll keep an eye on him at first. Norton, again, swinging. First pitch swinging, and fouls that one straight back. It'll be no balls and 1 strike. So, again, Coach Case, first season was 2002. Gamecocks were 23 and 31 that year, and then they started a streak of winning more than 30 games every year except 2012. And 2021. Other than that, they've won 30 or more games every season. They were 39-23 back in 2019 when he was the OVC Coach of the Year, and they went to the NCAA's Oxford Regional that year. Fastball is going to miss off the plate, and it'll be 1 ball and 1 strike. The Gamecocks have won OVC championships in 2005, 2008, and 2019. They won the OVC tournament in 2004, 2006, 2010, 2014, 2019, and made the NCAA tournament in 2004, 2006, 2010, 2014, and 2019 after having won Division II national championships in 1990 and 1991. So a lot of success for this program, and Coach Case has been a major part of that. The count's a ball and 2 strikes on Norton. Johnson waits on deck. Strachan, your runner at first. Lipscomb leading 1-0, top of the 2nd inning here. And he swings and fouls that again at the plate. Like a high slider that stayed up enough for him to just get his bat on it, so he'll stay alive. So twice OVC Coach of the Year, Coach Case, 2008 and 2019. He's a 4-year letter winner at Louisiana Tech as a baseball player and went to the coaching ranks there at Louisiana Tech, spent time at Mississippi State and also at UAB. I did a 2nd stint at Mississippi State before taking over at Jacksonville State 2002. So it's been his only head coaching position. And apparently there's some discussion here, I guess, about the nature of that foul ball. It did, I think, catch a piece of home plate umpire Stephen Holland, so Stephen Hagan, rather. That's why we had a bit of a delay. So counts 1 ball, 2 strikes. Nobody out. Runner at first, top of the 2nd. And here comes the 1-2. That one's going to miss downstairs. Good play, Bertolini, to keep it in front. It'll be 2-2. Here comes the 2-2 from Cantola. Swung on and hit into right field. Base hit. A good piece of hitting there. Right through the hole. And Brennan Norton has the first base hit of the day for the Gamecocks. And now they've got runners at 1st and 2nd with nobody out. So Cantola made a good pitch. It was low and away. Norton with a good swing. Went down and got that and drove it into right field. And that'll bring up the designated hitter, Derrick Jackson. Jackson batting .194 on the season. One homer, 4 RBIs. We'll see if he's bunting here as the Gamecocks are threatening with runners at 1st and 2nd and nobody out. He is swinging away, and he looks at one just off the plate. Good location, but he didn't get the call. Ball and no strikes on Derrick Jackson Jr., sophomore, at the designated hitter role today. Jackson does not have a sacrifice hit on the season for the Gamecocks. And he looks at a breaking ball through there, and that'll even the count at a ball and a strike. So start the inning, Strachan walked, and then a single for Norton. And so 2 on and nobody out here. Bison's got 3 hits in the bottom of the 1st, but only scored 1 run. As Magwood came back to record 2 big outs with a strikeout and a fly ball out, and that one misses off the plate, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Mainers waits on deck for the Gamecocks. For Bison's fans, Jacksonville State is located in Jacksonville, Alabama. School has an enrollment of just over 9,000 students. It was founded back in 1883. And this is swung on and hit in the air towards center field. Houghton ranging over. He's still ranging over, but he's going to be called off by Shields, the right fielder, who's going to catch it. And the runners will have to hold. The throw comes into 3rd. And the first out of the inning is recorded on the fly ball out off the bat of Jackson. So that'll bring up Mason Mainers. Mainers, the left fielder today. He's a sophomore. He's batting .174 to start the season. No homers and 1 RBI. He's one of 2 left-handed batters in the lineup for Coach Case. Crow being the other one, that was batting up in the 3 hole. Cantola gets set. Swung on and hit towards first base. Williams is going to see it kick off his glove and go into right field. They're going to wave Strachan around from second, and he's going to score, and we're going to have a 1-1 ball game. We'll see how they score that, and they are indeed going to score at a base hit, I believe. So second base hit of the inning. That's going to be off the glove of Malik Williams. It was hit sharply. He tried to backhand it, and it kicked off his glove, and so it's an RBI base hit for Mainers to tie the game up at 1 apiece. Second hit of the inning for the Gamecocks. Norton will advance down to second. He had to hold there because the throw came into third. That'll bring up Isaac Alexander, the shortstop, batting .225. No homers, 5 RBIs on the season. So that'll be the second RBI on the season for Mainers. Got a tie ball game, 1-1 here in the top of the second. That's a breaking ball that'll catch the outside corner, 0-1. Alexander, one of the few Gamecocks who hasn't come up there swinging away at the first pitch. I think that the book was that they were expecting fastball, and when they saw a fastball, they were swinging away at it there. And so Cantola breaks that pattern and starts him with a breaking pitch. It's 0-1. Another breaking ball hit off the fist out towards center field. That's going to drop for a base hit. They are going to wave Norton around third. The throw is going to come in, and he's going to get there just in time. And Jacksonville State leads 2-1. So that ball was hit off the fist, hit softly. Stamps took a run at it, but just couldn't get there. Ketchup also couldn't get there. And so the ball landed softly in center field. The center fielder, Houghton, had a long run, comes in and fields it, throws home, made a good throw, but it just was not in time to get Norton. And so 2 runs are in and 3 hits in the inning, still only 1 out. And we're going to go back to the top of the order. And Cole Frederick, but before we do, pitching coach Matt Myers is going to go out to the mound to talk to his sophomore right-hander Caleb Cantola. So again, to recap the inning, Cantola walked Strachan on a 3-2 count. Norton then singled sharply out into right field. Jackson, the designated hitter, flew out to right field. Then Mainers with an RBI base hit into right field, followed by a base hit off of the fist of Alexander. And so back-to-back base hits have driven in 2 runs, and you've still got 2 runners aboard. Mainers now running at second, Alexander running at first. And back to the top of the order in Cole Frederick. Frederick grounded out back to the pitcher in his first at-bat, top of the first inning. So Jacksonville State, 2-1 lead over Lipscomb here in the top of the second as the Gamecocks come back and put up 3 hits this inning. And shows bunt, and I believe that might have hit him. Training staff is going to come out and have a look. He showed bunt, and then the ball rode in on him, and I do believe it caught him in the face. The training staff's out taking a look at him. I don't believe it went off his bat. We'll have to wait and see how they rule it. Just hard to tell from our vantage point whether it caught the piece of the bat and then hit him in the face or went straight to the face. But that was a fastball that got on him in a hurry. Obviously no intent to try to hit him there. He is up on his feet, which is great to see. And he's going to take a jog down to first base. So that must be a hit by pitch. And that's going to load the bases. Mainers will go over to third. Alexander is going to advance to second, and Frederick is on at first. And so the Gamecocks got trouble brewing here in the first inning as they loaded the bases. And that'll bring up TJ Reeves. And as we mentioned, Reeves, the hottest hitter on the team, came in batting .333. He reached on a walk and stole the base back in the first inning. Which again, he's had hits in now 14 of the 15, or rather reached base in 14 of the 15 games the Gamecocks have played. He swings and fouls that one back to the screen. It'll be no balls and 1 strike on Reeves. A little bit of a shift on as second baseman Stamps is pulled up the middle towards the bag, so big hole over on the right side again for Reeves. We've seen a couple balls go out that way this inning. The right-handed swinging Reeves waits for the 0-1, and that's hit on the ground over the head of Will Hoyt. That's going to bring 1 home. They're going to wave Alexander home, and sliding into third is going to be Frederick, and that's going to be 2 RBIs on the double for TJ Reeves. So he hit that one on the ground. It bounced high over the head of third baseman Will Hoyt, who was pulled in a little bit, and then it sort of died as it went down the third base line. And so 4th base hit of the inning, and 2 more runs scored. It's now 4-1 Gamecocks. Still just 1 out in the inning, and Carson Crow will bat. Crow was a strikeout victim back in the first. So Frederick, your runner at third. Reeves, your runner at second. And Cantola's going to go back to the windup here. And that one's going to go all the way back to the screen. Runner's going to come home and don't pick it up in time. And that's going to be a wild pitch for the 5th run. This looked like a breaking ball that just slipped out of his hand, went all the way back to the screen. Bertolani retreated to try to grab it. Couldn't quite get a grip on it as he looked like he was going to maybe try to go back and take it himself. It came off the padding there, but then it went out of his grasp, and it is going to be the 5th run of the day for the Gamecocks. So the Gamecocks have scored 5 runs in this inning, courtesy of 4 base hits. They've got a runner at third with 1 out, and Crow, the batter. And he swings and fouls it off his foot, and it'll be a ball and a strike. So 1 ball and 1 strike. There is some activity down in the Bison's bullpen. I can't quite get a number yet, but there's some stretching and moving around going on among a couple of people, and so we'll keep an eye on that for you. This one's hit high in the air on the infield. Shortstop Ketchup is ranging back over towards his normal position, still going over the wind. Undoubtedly caught that one and pushed it, but Ketchup is going to glove it for the 2nd out of the inning. So Crow is retired, and we're down to Carignan, 9th man to bat in the inning. Carignan grounded out back in the 1st inning. So he'll bat with 2 outs and a runner at third. Jacksonville State leading Lipscomb 5-1 here in the top of the 2nd inning. Big bounce back for the Gamecocks. He swings and fouled this one out of play on the fastball. 0-1. So none of the balls hit particularly hard, but they found the holes been just the right spot, and that's what you have to do in clutch situational hitting, and that's what the Gamecocks have done here. That's a fastball on the inside part of the plate, 0-2. And Strachan, who led off the inning, would be next if Kerrigan can extend things here. And that's a breaking ball that missed high, and Reeves with an alert play at third. He took off as Cantola went in his windup, sprinting down the third baseline as if he was going to try to steal home and try to distract him, and perhaps it worked as that breaking ball stayed high. So here comes the 1-2. Swung on and hit in the air towards left field. Maxwell going back, still going back, looks up at the wall and is going to glove it just shy of the wall. Kerrigan really gave that one a ride, but Rudy Maxwell made a good play, looking up in the sun, retreats and catches it against the wall for the 3rd out of the inning. So it's a productive inning for the Gamecocks. They score a total of 5 runs on 4 base hits. No Lipscomb errors, and there was 1 man left on base. So as we head to the bottom half of the 2nd, your new score, Jacksonville State 5 and Lipscomb 1. You're watching Lipscomb Bison's Baseball on YouTube Live. We head to the bottom half of the 2nd inning. It'll be 7-8-9, Stamps, Bertolani, and Ketchup to face the right-hander Isaiah Magwood. Magwood gave up 3 base hits in the top of the 1st, but got out of it as he stranded a couple of runners, coming back with a strikeout and a flyout to end the threat. And he now comes back out to the mound, being staked to a 5-1 lead, courtesy of the Gamecocks putting up a 5 spot in the top of the 2nd. So Ethan Stamps will stand in there, and Stamps batting .312, 2 homers and 8 RBIs. Ethan had a huge weekend at Georgia. He had 500 during the weekend series. Half of his hits were for extra bases. He had 2 home runs in the 2nd game of Sunday's doubleheader. So Ethan Stamps, a local Georgia guy, really enjoyed being back close to home, and he hits the first pitch he sees out into left center field. That's going back towards the wall, and it's going to be caught there by Mainers. good running catch. Again, Stamps hit that well, and he's going to be retired on the deep fly out to left field for the first out of the inning. Maynard's had him played off the line, had to go back to his left, and again, Stamps hit that ball well, but Maynard's made a good play on it. So one down, and that'll bring up Chaz Bertolani. Chaz batting .212 on the season, no homers and 4 RBIs. He'll bat with one out and the base is empty here. Bisons have put some good swings on it, but got to give credit to Magwood. He came back after giving up a couple of base hits, 3 base hits in a row, and was able to restore order in the first inning as he starts Bertolani off with a fastball for a strike on the outside corner. And that's going to be a breaking ball that's also going to be in there for a strike, 0-2. And the 0-2 is going to bounce up there, and so it'll be a ball and 2 strikes to Chaz Bertolani. So we mentioned that Magwood has been pitching all the way since back in 2019. He did pitch in that Oxford Regional against Illinois, gave up 5 2/3 innings, 2 hits and 3 runs with 4 strikeouts. So even as a freshman, he's got some experience. Chaz taps that one towards second. Frederick's going to come, glove it, throw on the run, and he'll retire him for the second out of the inning. I'll bring up shortstop Caleb Ketchup. Ketchup got his average up to 245 now, 1 homer and 5 RBIs. He'll bat with 2 outs and the base is empty here. Ketchup, a transfer from the University of Georgia. He's a 5'10" sophomore out of Atlanta, Georgia. And he looks at a pitch outside for ball 1. Caleb was 1 for 4 with his first career home run against Tennessee Tech on Tuesday. He swung it well all weekend at Georgia, hit some balls hard that were caught, but he had some very good at-bats against the Bulldogs. That one's out on the outside corner. It'll even the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. So 2 outs, bases empty, bottom of the second inning. Jacksonville State leading Lipscomb 5-1. That one's going to be called to strike. I got to tell you, folks, from up here, it looked like it was probably off the plate a little bit, but he gets the call, and it'll make the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. So a ball and 2 strikes. Top of the order, Shields waits on deck if Ketchup can extend the inning here for the Bisons. Magwood doing just what you want after putting up a 5 spot and coming back out and throwing strikes and taking the action to the hitters. That's a breaking ball downstairs, bounce up there 2-2 on Caleb Ketchup. Last year, Magwood got 11 starts for the Gamecocks, and that's a solid base hit in the center field for Caleb Ketchup. So he hits a 2-2 pitch out into center field. That'll be the 4th hit of the day for the Bisons, and Ketchup will be aboard with 2 outs. And we're back to John Shields, who fouled out to the catcher after working a full count on his first at-bat in the first inning. So we mentioned 11 starts last year, in which Magwood worked a total of 48 1/3 innings, 4th most on the staff, had a 5.03 ERA, 58 strikeouts in those 48 innings, and mostly was a midweek starter, and he starts him off with a pitch off the plate for ball 1. He did get into the weekend rotation for the final 4 weekends of the season. And in the season opening series with Kentucky, he went 4 innings, gave up 5 hits, 2 runs, 2 were earned. That one's going to miss downstairs, and that'll make the count 2 balls and no strikes on John Shields. Last weekend against South Alabama, Magwood pitched 4 1/3 innings, gave up 3 hits, no runs, walked 2 and struck out 4. So 4 innings or 4 1/3 has been his longest outing of the season. He pitches here in the second with 2 outs, and that's a fastball called strike. 2 balls, 1 strike. Ketchup is 6 for 7 on steals on the season. He's second in the team to Shields in that department, so he is a threat to go. I will say that Magwood looks pretty quick to the plate, so we'll see how the Bisons elect to play it here. Not much of a lead for Ketchup at first. He is faking a run, and Shields is going to look at a strike, a breaking ball for strike 2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes now to Shields. Ketchup with a fairly modest lead by his standards, so see how the Bisons elect to play it. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Houghton waits on deck. He is running, and he swings and fouls it at the plate. And The count will remain 2 balls and 2 strikes for John Shields. We mentioned that Magwood came from Hazel Green, Alabama. He played at Hazel Green High School. And his team won the Alabama High School Class 6A state championship his senior year. Throw goes over to first, and Ketchup is back. So 2 balls, 2 strikes on John Shields with 2 outs in the bottom of the second inning. Ketchup fakes, doesn't go, and Shields is going to foul it out of play, and the count will remain 2-2. Shields was 3 for 4 with an RBI against Tennessee Tech on Tuesday. Throw again goes to first. Had a couple base hits in the series at Georgia last weekend. John's last home run came back on March 6th against Northern Illinois. He did it a home run the very first game of the season against Akron. And the 2-2 again hit high in the air. This one's on to fair territory. Norton is coming over and he's going to glove it. So for the second time today, Shields is going to pop the ball up and he's going to be retired. So nothing doing much for the Bisons here in the bottom half of the second inning. They do get a hit and they do strand a runner. They've stranded 3 through 2 innings, and we head to the top of the third. Your score, Jacksonville State 5 and Lipscomb 1. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. We head to the top of the third inning. Jacksonville State leading Lipscomb 5-1. And it'll be 5, 6, and 7. Strachan, Norton, and Jackson to face Caleb Cantola. Cantola had a solid first inning. Gave up a single walk and got a strikeout and a couple groundouts. But disaster struck in the second inning. He gave up a leadoff walk. And then 3 of the next 4 batters reached on a base hit. He hit a batter and then gave up a double. And before you know it, the Gamecocks had put 5 runs on the board. So Strachan bats for the second time, and he looks at a pitch down low for ball 1. He led off that second inning with a walk and eventually came around to score the first run of the day. Again, Strachan batting .212 on the season. 3 home runs tied for the team lead, and he swings and fouls this one at the plate, and it'll be a ball and a strike. So Cantola looking at 47 pitches so far here through the first 2 innings. That was a high-stress inning in the second inning, as they refer to them. We have seen a little bit of activity. It looked like Noah Thompson was stretching some and throwing a little bit down in the Bison's bullpen. Here comes the 1-1. Swung on an off-speed pitch and hit foul down the third base line, and that'll take the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Same 2 teams here tomorrow. It'll be a 2 p.m. Central Time start for that one, and then Game 3 on Sunday at 1 p.m. Opening weekend of conference play for both of these teams. That one misses in the dirt. They're going to ask if he swung. First base umpire Bob Howard says he did not, so it'll be 2 balls and 2 strikes on Strachan. So the Bisons, as we mentioned, on the road at Georgia last weekend, a midweek game against Tennessee Tech. They play 3 here this weekend against Jacksonville State. Then they're on the road Tuesday at Louisville. Louisville starting their second weekend of conference play this weekend. This is swung on and hit toward the hole. Ketchup's going to glove it off the backhand. He's going to make a long throw, and that's going to sail over the head of Williams and, in fact, go out of play. And so I believe that'll advance. It will indeed advance Strachan up to second base. So they're going to score it as a base hit and an error, which I think would be the correct scoring. I think it would be very difficult to have gotten him out on the throw. Ketchup ranging to his backhand side. Made a very strong throw, in fact so strong that it sailed over the wall. And so leadoff batter is on again, and that brings up Brennan Norton. And Norton Norton had a base hit and scored a run back in the second inning. So he'll bat now with Strachan out at second. First, looks at a breaking ball through there for a strike. First baseman Williams almost even with the bag. Stamps and Ketchup are up the middle and somewhat at double play depth. Third baseman Wilhoit a couple feet behind the bag at third. 5 hits on the day now for the Gamecocks. Here comes the 0-1. That's way inside, and it's going to get past Bertolani and go all the way back to the wall. And once again, the Gamecocks are in business. They've got a runner at third now with nobody out here in the top of the third inning. So a single for Strachan. He takes second on the throwing error and then goes to third on a wild pitch. So 1 ball, 1 strike is the count to Brendan Norton. Derrick Jackson waits on deck. He swings and taps this one foul. It's ahead of a breaking ball there, and so it'll be a ball and 2 strikes. So aggressive approach from these Gamecock hitters. We mentioned they came in hitting just 232 as a team. They had struck out 141 times in 465 at-bats. That was against only 4 walks, but they've shown that aggression at the plate today here, swinging pitches early in the count. So far, they've put together some very timely base hits to plate those 5 runs. Here comes the 1-2. Fastball is going to stay high, and that'll make the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. The 2-2, swung on and hit past. Oh, Ketchup's going to glove it. He's not going to have a play at home. Terrific play. Throws to first. Fantastic play by Ketchup. It's going to be an RBI ground out there as Strachan is going to come around and score. But my goodness, you got to tip your hat to Ketchup on that play. Dives to his backhand side. I really did not think that he would likely have a play, but he hops up to his feet, makes a strong throw to first. So Norton does his job. He drives the run in from third. That's the 6th run of the day for the Gamecocks, and with 1 out and the bases empty, that'll bring up Derrick Jackson. Jackson flew out to right field back in the 2nd inning. And that pitch is going to also miss inside. 1 ball, no strikes. So Cantola's had a little bit of trouble with his fastball control here, as he's hit a batter and missed inside a couple of times. Here comes the 1-0, and that's also going to miss inside, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. On the day so far, Cantola with 2 walks and 1 strikeout. He's given up 5 hits. 5 of the 6 runs are earned. That'll be an unearned run that scored this inning. And that swung on and hammered into center field. Going back is Houghton. He's going to stop as the wind's going to hold it up, and that's going to be a long and loud 2nd out of the inning as Jackson hit that ball well, but he hit it towards the deepest part of the ballpark, and he'll be retired for the 2nd out of the inning. So that'll bring up Mason Mainers. Mainers got the carousel started as he had an RBI base hit back in the 2nd, 1 for 1 on the day. Just his 2nd RBI on the season, and he came in batting 176. He's now up to 208 on the season. So he'll bat with 2 outs, bases empty. Jacksonville State leading Lipscomb 6-1 here in the top of the 3rd inning. Shows bunt, puts it down. It's a beauty. It's rolling down the 3rd base line. Bertolani, the catcher, is going to pick it up, throw to first. He's not going to have a play. So great bunt there by Mainers. Dropped that just down the 3rd base line, perfectly placed. 3rd baseman Wilhoit was playing back. Bertolani made an extremely athletic play, went a lot further out than many catchers would. But he did not have a chance to get Mainers, who runs well, and he's on at first with 2 outs for Alexander. And Alexander also had an RBI base hit back in the 2nd inning. It's the 6th hit of the game for the Gamecocks, the 2nd one this inning. And that's going to miss downstairs with a breaking ball. 1 ball, no strikes on Alexander. So the inning started with Strachan with a single, infield single. There was a throwing error on the play. He got to 2nd. He advanced to 3rd on a wild pitch and scored on the RBI ground out from Norton, and then a fly ball out, and followed by the single by Mainers. And we're 2 outs and a run home here in the 3rd. That's a slider that's in there for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Top of the order, and Frederick would be next. Frederick's already batted twice today. We're just in the 3rd inning here, so the Gamecocks have already sent 17 batters to the plate against Cantola, as the 18th one is up there here in the 3rd. He's running. Here's the 1-1. It's inside. Throw to second, and not in time. He's going to have a stolen base. First stolen base of the season for Mason Mainers. A little surprised he doesn't have a steal. He seems to run well. Pitch missed high, and that made it 2 balls and 1 strike. So runner now in scoring position with 2 outs. So Cantola gets set to throw downstairs. That'll take the count to 3-1, and I believe that's only the second 3-ball count, actually the third 3-ball count that we've seen him get to. He has been in the zone other than the previous one that ended up as a walk. 2 previous walks on the day, and now he's at a 3-1 count to Alexander. Top of the order, Frederick is next. And that one catches the corner. Good spot there, 3-2. So 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Mainer's your runner at second. Caleb Cantola trying to limit the damage here. And here's the payoff. Swung on and tapped towards short. Ketchup is going to field it. It's going to get under his glove, and we'll see how they score that. They're going to give that an error. So that's going to allow Mainers to advance to third, and that's going to put runners on the corners now with 2 outs. So Alexander reaches on the error. That's the second error of the inning, both of them assigned to Caleb Ketchup, and he's having a tough inning. And that'll bring up the top of the order Cole Frederick. Frederick grounded out in the first. He was hit by a pitch and scored a run in the second rather. So runners at the corners, 2 outs. Jacksonville State already leading 6-1. And threatening to add to that here. Frederick now batting .237 on the season. And he swings, and it's a line shot that Ketchup is going to glove for the 3rd out of the inning. So he hit that one well. Almost had himself an RBI, but a good leaping grab by Ketchup. And so that'll strand 2 runners rather. That's 4 stranded on the day for the Gamecocks, but they do pick up 1 run, courtesy of 2 hits, 2 Bison errors in the inning. And we head to the bottom of the 3rd. Your new score, Jacksonville State 6. And Lipscomb 1. You're watching Lipscomb Bison's Baseball on YouTube Live. We head to the home half of the 3rd inning, and Maddox Houghton is going to lead things off for the Bisons, who find themselves trailing 6-1. Maddox doubled and scored the first run of the day for the Bisons, the only run of the day, back in the 1st inning. And Maddox now up to 309 on the season, and that's a slider that's going to miss off the plate. 1 ball and no strikes. So far, Isaiah Magwood has worked 2 innings, giving up 4 hits, 1 run, 1 earned, no walks, and 1 strikeout, and he's working off 41 pitches through the first 2 innings. We mentioned that he's only gone maximum of 4 1/3 so far this season. Maddox fouls that one back. It's a ball and a strike. So that's something that we will certainly keep an eye on. Houghton also 2 for 4 over at Tennessee Tech on Tuesday with an RBI. Comes the 1-1. He swings through an off-speed pitch there, and it'll be a ball and 2 strikes. And that seems to be one of the more effective pitches that Magwood has thrown. When he can land that in the zone, he's been very effective with that off-speed pitch. So he's got Houghton down a ball and 2 strikes. Lundgren and then Williams for the Bisons this inning. Swung on and hammered down the left field line. Foul. And the count will remain 1 ball and 2 strikes on Maddox Houghton. So we await the 1-2 pitch from Magwood to Houghton. Here it comes, and it's just inside. Good spot for that one. But he didn't get the call. It's 2-2. Missed off the inside part of the plate. So Houghton will get set to do it again here. Swings and fouls that one out of play, and the count will remain 2-2. So Houghton, a 6-foot-tall senior out of Dalton, Georgia, playing in his 5th season here for the Bisons. He had a home run in his first at-bat of the season, leading off the first game. He's the only member of the team that played and started all games in 2021. He was also on the all-academic A-Sun team last year. And he swings and hits this one in the air towards right field. Crow with a long run, headed towards the line. Now coming in, and it's going to drop foul. So I think he misjudged that one a little bit. He thought it was hit deeper than it was. Again, the wind's blowing very strongly, would blow that ball away from him. And so that one lands in foul territory, and that'll keep the count at 2-2. Houghton had hit the ball down the line on his first at-bat. It landed just inside the right field line, so you would think they might want to shade him over that way. Houghton now extended. He's had a hit in 5 straight games after that base hit back in the first inning. So it's 2 balls, 2 strikes, and nobody out. We're playing in the bottom of the 3rd, and Jacksonville State is leading Lipscomb 6-1. Here comes the 2-2. Swung on and tapped towards 3rd. Norton's going to glove it, throw over to 1st, and they'll retire Houghton for the first out of the inning. So that'll bring up Mason Lundgren. Lundgren had an RBI base hit back in the first inning. He drove in that one and only run for the Bison so far today. And again, Lundgren is off to a fine start on this campaign for this sophomore. He's batting about even 400 on the season. He's got 20 hits and 50 trips to the plate, 13 RBIs on the season after that RBI today. He's a sophomore out of Salina, Kansas. Previously played at Neosho County Community College, and that's a fastball in there for a strike, 0-1. Again, he was 1 for 2 with a couple RBIs against Tennessee Tech after having 4 hits on the weekend at Georgia. 2 for 4 and 2 for 5 in the games on Sunday. He fouls that one out of play. He's quickly behind, no balls and 2 strikes. I'll try to get you caught up on some of the other games that are going on around the Atlantic Sun Conference today. Again, first weekend for conference play, and so we'll have some scoreboard updates that we'll get to as we progress through the game. Here comes the 0-2, and that one's going to bounce up there. It's a ball and 2 strikes. All the A-Sun Conference teams in action today, and as we start conference play, again, in the East and West Division. In the West Division with Lipscomb and Jacksonville State are Bellarmine, Eastern Kentucky, North Alabama, and Central Arkansas. And that one's going to be a call strike 3. Lundgren thought it was inside, and I might agree with him, but it's going to be another strikeout. It's going to be the 2nd strikeout of the day for Magwood. And that'll bring up Malik Williams. Malik singled and was stranded back in the 1st. Extending his hitting streak to 10 games now, and so he'll bat with 2 outs and the bases empty. So among teams on the western side, Eastern Kentucky has the best overall record at 11-7. Lipscomb is next at 10-7 as that one misses outside. And then you've got North Alabama at 5-10, Jacksonville State 4-10, Central Arkansas 5-11, and Bellarmine 3-15. That one's also going to be outside. 2 balls, no strikes on Malik Williams with Rudy Maxwell on deck. So obviously all of that will change as conference play gets underway today. And Bellarmine already has a win in the books. They've beaten Central Arkansas 4-2, so they're now officially leading the Western Division. That misses outside. It's 3 balls and no strikes to Malik Williams. And it's only the 2nd 3-ball count of the day that Magwood has gotten himself into. So 3-0 to Williams. We'll see if he takes a pitch here. He does, and it's off the plate. Ball 4. So that's the first walk of the day surrendered. And it may not be a bad thing if you're a Gamecock fan to have Mr. Williams standing at first, given the way he's been swinging the bat. Brings up Rudy Maxwell. Maxwell was a strikeout victim back in the first inning. Maxwell still batting .343 on the season. He's got 3 home runs and 18 RBIs, and he'd love to put a little pressure on for the Bisons here in the bottom of the 3rd, and that's a breaking ball that's going to miss downstairs. So a little bit of a difference this inning for Magwood. He's been throwing that breaking ball very effectively. Seems to have lost a little bit of a feel for it here in this inning, as control has not been quite as sharp as it was earlier in the day. He's missed on 5 straight. Here comes the 1-0, and that's a fastball in the outside corner, and Maxwell takes a hack at it, doesn't connect, 1-1. Will Hoyt waits on deck. 2 outs, bottom of the 3rd inning. And Jacksonville State leading Lipscomb 6-1. Clouds have come over and we don't see any sunshine at the moment. The lights are on here. He swings and fouls that one off. That was an off-speed pitch that he just got a piece of, so it'll be a ball and 2 strikes on Maxwell. Magwood up to 57 pitches here to get through those first 3 innings. Again, we don't see any activity in the Jacksonville State bullpen. Down in the Bison's bullpen, got a right-hander throwing. We'll try to get some information for you on that in just a moment here. Looks like that's Patrick Williams up and throwing for the Bisons in the bullpen. Here comes the 1-2. He swings at strike 3. So Maxwell chased one way outside, breaking ball that he didn't get a piece of. He goes down on strikes for the 2nd time. Bisons will strand another runner as they have no runs and no hits and strand that one. They've stranded 4 through the first 3 innings. And after 3 innings, your score, Jacksonville State 6, Lipscomb 1. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. We've had a pitching change for the Bisons as we head to the top half of the 4th inning. They've handed the ball to sophomore right-hander Patrick Williams, 6'7", 199-pounder out of Cleveland, Tennessee. Patrick making his 5th appearance on the season. He's worked just 5 innings, given up 7 hits, 6 runs, 6 earned, 4 walks, 5 strikeouts. He did pitch a very effective inning against Tennessee Tech on Tuesday, recording 3 quick outs, and he'll be called upon to keep things right where they are here as he faces 2, 3, and 4 for the Gamecocks. Reeves, Crow, and Carignan to start the 4th. Jacksonville State leading Lipscomb 6-1. Reeves has had a busy day. He walked, stole a base, and was stranded back in the 1st. In the 2nd, he doubled and had 2 RBIs. So 1 for 1 on the day with a couple RBIs. And Williams starts him out with a breaking ball that's going to stay high. 1 ball and no strikes. You could close the book on Caleb Cantola. He goes 3 innings, gives up 6 hits, 6 runs, 6 earned, 2 walks, and 1 strikeout. So Cantola done for the day, and Reeves fouls that one back to the screen, and it'll be a ball and a strike on Reeves. Again, defensively for the Bisons, Maxwell's in left, Houghton in center, Shields in right, Will Hoyt at 3rd, Ketchup at short, Stamps at 2nd, Williams at 1st, and Bertolani behind the plate. And here comes the 1-1. That's a breaking ball that'll stay high, 2-1. Shift is on for Reeves, as if you were looking on your screen, second baseman Stamps is the man standing behind second base. Ketchup pulled way over in the hole. Will Hoyt deep behind 3rd base. He swings and fouls that one back 2-1. But Reeves doesn't appear to be interested in bunting. He could easily get aboard if he could drop it down the 3rd base line, but swinging a hot bat, and he doesn't appear to be interested in that as an offensive weapon here. So it's 1 ball and 2 strikes, and that one misses inside, and that'll make the count 2-2. Correction, 3-2. I did have the count as 2-2. That's 3-2. So full count now on Reeves. Scoreboard had the count at 1-2, but it was 2-2 before that pitch. So here comes the payoff. Swung on and hit towards Ketchup. He's going to glove it, and it's going to go off his glove. He had to make a couple steps to his left, and that's going to be scored an error, and that'll be the 3rd error of the day for the Bisons, and Ketchup owns all 3 of those. So that'll put Reeves aboard again. And again, Reeves 3 for 5, actually 4 for 6 now on stolen bases on the season. And that'll bring up Carson Crow. He has struck out and popped out, so 0 for 2 on the day is Crow. Again, one of 2 left-handed hitters in the lineup for the Gamecocks. So Crow batting 190 on the season. Does have 2 home runs. And he swings through a fastball there, 0-1. 6 runs, 6 hits, no errors for the Gamecocks. 1 run, 4 hits, and 3 errors now for the Bisons. And so they've really been bit by the error bug here today. Here comes the 0-1. And that's also in there for a strike, 0-2. So Williams settling into a rhythm here. He likes to work quickly when he's throwing well. He'll keep that tempo going, as most pitchers like. So no balls and 2 strikes. Reeves your runner at first. He's already stolen a base today. And they look like they might be expecting him to run there. Fastball misses outside. It'll be 1 ball and 2 strikes on Reeves. Patrick Williams on in relief of Caleb Cantola here, as Jacksonville State scored 5 in the second, 1 in the third, and they're leading this one 6-1. Runners going. Pitches on the inside corner. Called strike 3. Throw is got him. Strike him out, throw him out, double play. Bertolani, good job turning that one around. As Crow is down on strikes. And caught stealing for the second time this season will be Reeves. And so that's 2 quick outs for Williams. And that'll bring up Carignan. Tough pitch to handle. Bertolani had to go down and get it. Came up, made a throw, and a good tag was applied out at second to get Reeves, who has good speed, but that'll empty the bases, and there's a strike. So Williams coming on and getting in rhythm and throwing well here. Carrigan's 0 for 2 on the day. He's grounded out and flied out. And he swings and fouls that one back. The count quickly 0-2. So Williams is pretty much a fastball, curveball pitcher. He does have a changeup that he doesn't show as often. But he's a big, hard-throwing righty. As we mentioned, 6'7" youngster out of Cleveland, Tennessee. And he gets set to bring it to Carignan. That's a breaking ball that's going to be down in the dirt, blocked by Bertolani, and so it'll be a ball and 2 strikes. Strachan waits on deck. Again, big shift on second baseman Stamps is to the third base side of the bag, as you can see on your screen. Here comes the 1-2. Just missed inside with a breaking ball there. Good pitch, but he left it inside and low, and so it'll be 2-2. Swings and taps this toward the mound. Williams is going to step off. He's going to flip it over to first, and that's going to be a quick 1-2-3 inning for Patrick Williams. So nothing doing for the Gamecocks here in the top half of the 4th inning. Although there was 1 Bison error in the inning, we're going to head to the bottom half of the 4th inning, and your score is Lipscomb 6 and Jacksonville State 1. You're watching Lipscomb Bison's Baseball on YouTube Live. We're to the bottom half of the fourth inning. It'll be 6, 7, and 8. Will Hoyt, Stamps, and Bertolani for the Bisons against Isaiah Magwood, who's gone all the way. Misses outside there. 1 ball and no strikes. Magwood so far surrendered 4 hits, but just 1 run, 1 earned. He's walked 1 and struck out 3, and sitting at 61 pitches here as Will Hoyt hits that one foul, and leaving the count at 1 ball and a strike. Bison struck first back in the bottom of the first inning, putting up a single run, but 5 in the top of the second for the Gamecocks and 1 in the top of the third. And then Patrick Williams came on and got a clean inning in the fourth. So that's where we stand as we head to the bottom of the fourth. Again, clouds are gathering here. No sunshine remaining. Lights are on at Dugan Field. And that's an off-speed pitch that's a beauty there for strike 2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Trace Will Hoyt. Flew out to left field back in the first inning. Checks his swing, and first base umpire Bob Howard says he did not go. So that was a breaking ball that missed downstairs, 2-2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, and he's going to get that one called strike 3. Well, it's always an opinion, and I have to say I can understand why Trace might not have seen that one over the plate. It seemed to be inside from our vantage point, but consistently big plate today, and that'll bring up second baseman Ethan Stamps. Ethan flew out to left field on a hard hit ball that he hammered into the gap in left center in the second inning. And he swings and hits that one off his foot. No balls, 1 strike on Stamps. So we'll get you caught up on the scoreboard. We mentioned scoreboards for area teams and also the ASUN Conference teams. Wofford is leading Belmont 9-3 in the top of the 7th. Tennessee Martin, Western Carolina just underway. No score in the first. We mentioned that Bellarmine has beaten Central Arkansas 4-2. And that one's on the outside corner. Great spot there. No balls, 2 strikes. Later today, Eastern Kentucky is at North Alabama, and Liberty is at North Florida. Florida Gulf Coast at Stetson. Kennesaw State at Jacksonville. And those are your other ASUN matchups today. Here comes the 0-2. He checks his swing, and that, I am really not sure the call there. The home plate umpire is pointing at first base, and I think they're going to say it hit him, I believe. So Coach Case is going to come out and ask for an explanation, and I think we're all confused on what went on there. It looked like he checked his swing. I thought it might be a drop third strike, but instead they're going to say that it hit him, and now we're going to have an umpires conference. The home plate umpire, Stephen Hagan, was the one making the call, and he was pointing towards first base. The way he was pointing, I almost thought that he was indicating a possibility of a strike, and it was dropped. And so now they're going to wave him back to home plate, apparently, after a consultation out on the base path. So, again, odd-looking play. We don't have replay here at Dugan Field, and in fact, he may be out. Let's see. I see Ketchup coming to the plate. Actually, no, Ketchup is just bringing him his bat. Okay, so I think it's going to be a foul ball. I'll keep the count, no balls and 2 strikes, so we'll reset your situation. There's 1 out. We're playing in the bottom of the 4th inning. Stamps is your batter. He fouled the first pitch off his foot, and then it looked as though that one might have hit him, but instead I think they're going to say he swung at it, must have made contact, and so it's going to be a no ball, 2 strike count. So an odd sequence there, but I think we've got things straightened away. Nobody on, 1 out. Here comes the 0-2, and he checks his swing, and he's definitely going to be called out on that one. He waved at that one. And so that'll be the second strikeout of the inning now, as Magwood really settling into a rhythm there. He has struck out the last 4 Bisons that he has faced, actually 4 of the last 5, rather. He did have 1 walk sprinkled in there. So Magwood really getting into a rhythm here. And Bertolani will bat with 2 outs and the bases empty. He grounded out to the second baseman back in the second inning. So Magwood seems to be going a lot more to that breaking ball and really developing a little better feel for it now than he had earlier. And he'll start him off with a fastball that will catch the inside corner, 0-1. Ketchup waits on deck if Bertolani can extend this inning. And he swings and hits this in the air towards the right side. It's heading into foul territory. Giving chase is the first baseman Strachan, but he can't get there, and it'll fall to the ground, and the count will be 0-2. on Chaz Bertolani. So no balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. They're going to wait for their defense to get back as everybody on the right side was giving chase to that little flare. Again, wind blowing very hard, 17 to 20 miles an hour out of center field towards the left field line. And so any of those balls that stay up there are definitely going to be a tricky play for the fielders. Here comes the 0-2, and he's got another strikeout. And Magwood has struck out the side and give him 6 strikeouts on the day now for Isaiah Magwood. Nothing doing for the Bisons in the bottom half of the 4th. We're going to head to the 5th. Your score, Jacksonville State 6 and Lipscomb 1. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. We're headed to the 5th inning. Patrick Williams back out on the mound for the Bisons, and he'll be facing 5, 6, and 7. Strachan, Norton, and Jackson for the Gamecocks. And Strachan's had a solid day so far. He walked and scored a run, singled, and scored a run back in the 3rd. So he's 1 for 1 with a couple of runs scored. And Williams starts him off with a breaking ball in the outside corner, 0-1. Strachan, Norton, and Jackson due up here to face Patrick Williams, who's on in his 2nd inning of work. He had an excellent 1st inning. The 0-1 misses off the plate with a breaking ball, 1 ball and 1 strike. Strachan playing over at first base today for the Gamecocks. And he swings and fouls that one back out of play, and the count will be a ball and 2 strikes. So, interestingly, when the ASUN coaches had their preseason poll, they picked Jacksonville State to be 4th overall in the conference, 4th out of the 12 teams for the season. So they're highly respected by the coaches. They were the highest ranked team in the Western Division. And Lipscomb was chosen 10th in that same poll. That's hit on the ground towards 3rd. It's going to be fielded by shortstop Ketchup instead. Strong throw to 1st, and Strachan is retired. So Will Hoyt took a couple of steps as if he was going to try to field it, but he realized it was a little past him, and so Ketchup fires over there with a strong throw and 1 out. That'll bring up Brennan Norton. Norton singled and scored a run back in the 2nd. Then he had an RBI ground out in the 3rd, so he's 1 for 2 with an RBI on the day. Now batting .236 on the season. And Williams gets ahead, 0-1. Really got to like what you're seeing from Patrick Williams today. The big, tall righty commanding the zone, good rhythm, good tempo. Looks really confident, works out of the stretch even with the bases empty here, but he is throwing very well today. And that one swung on and hit out of play, and he's ahead 0-2. Williams with terrific stuff and has made some great outings for the Bisons. Pitched really, really effectively against Tennessee in the big win that the Bisons had on the road last year. So talented sophomore. Here's the 0-2, and that one's going to miss outside. It didn't chase. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Again, first meeting ever between these two teams that they're now in the ASUN Conference at the same time. Jacksonville State previously in the ASUN, but they left back in 2003. And the 1-2 swung on and hit foul, and the count will remain a ball and 2 strikes. We had just a slight peak of sunshine. Again, mostly overcast skies and a lot of storm clouds out in the distance, but the sun appears to have found a sliver and brighten things up on the field here. Just a 1-ball, 2-strike pitch is due. Swung on and hit back up the middle. That one hit Williams, and it's going to go to Wilhoit, who won't have a play. And let's see if Williams is okay. That's going to be a base hit. That was hit really sharply. I thought it was going to get through. Looks like it might have hit him in the back of the leg or the buttocks area. And head trainer Clint Woods is going to go out and have a look at the tall right-hander. That one had to hurt. That one came off sharply, and Williams is, of course, waving him and saying, hey, thankfully that hit me where I have some padding back here. And so Clint Woods will turn around and jog back to the dugout. And so the Gamecocks have their first hit off of Patrick Williams. Be their 7th hit of the day. And so with 1 out and a runner at first, that'll bring up Derrick Jackson, who has flied out to right and flied out to center, 0 for 2 on the day and batting 184 on the season. And he starts him off with a breaking ball through there for strike 1. So Norton running at first is no stolen base attempts on the season and has a fairly modest lead over there. That was hammered right at third. Wilhoit gloves it's going to throw back to first. Double play. So good glove by Wilhoit, and then he throws to first base as Norton really didn't have much of a chance, and so that's a 5-3 double play, and that'll erase the threat for the Gamecocks. So nothing doing for them in the 5th inning. We head to the home half of the 5th, and your score, Jacksonville State 6 and Lipscomb 1. You're watching Lipscomb Bison's Baseball on YouTube Live. We go to the home half of the 5th inning, and Isaiah Magwood is back out on the mound. This will be his longest outing of the season, or at least he's slated for it to be, and he'll face 9-1-2 for the Bisons. Catch up Shields and Houghton, as Lipscomb looking at a 6-1 deficit here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. So we mentioned the Bisons plated 1 in the bottom of the 1st, and Jacksonville State right back with 5 in the top of the 2nd, 1 in the top of the 3rd, and that gives us our 6-1 score. Gamecocks have out-hit the Bisons 7-4. The Bisons also have 3 errors on the board, and Ketchup shows bunt, fouls it off his foot, and that'll be no balls and 1 strike on Caleb Ketchup. So again, Magwood's previous longest start this season, he's gone 4 1/3 innings twice. His last 2 starts, once against Siena and once against South Alabama. And he's pitched very effectively today. Ketchup hits that on a line to center field, but Reeves is going to get over and glove it for the first out of the inning. So Caleb hit it well, but he's retired. That'll be 1 down, and that'll bring up John Shields. And John's still looking to get going today. Twice today he's batted. Twice he's fouled or popped the ball up in the air. Fouled out to the catcher in the first. Fouled out to third base in the 2nd inning. So 0 for 2 on the day for Shields. Still batting .327 on the season. He's got 3 homers and 10 RBIs. A little bit of stretching action going on in the Jacksonville State bullpen, and he starts him with a breaking ball called strike 1. So 1 out, bases empty, bottom of the 5th. Jacksonville State leading Lipscomb 6-1. First game of a 3-game series. We're glad you're with us here on YouTube Live. That swung on and hit foul and out of play, and it's no balls and 2 strikes. Same 2 teams tomorrow. It'll be a 2 p.m. Central Time start. And Sunday's 3rd game will be a 1 p.m. Central Time start. So 3 games this weekend to start ASUN play. That one misses a little further outside, and that'll be called ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Houghton waits on deck for the Bisons, who outside of that first inning have really been handled here as Magwood has been strong. That's hit on a line to first, but it's going to be gloved by Strachan, and he'll go over and retire Shields. So Shields hit it well, but he's retired 3 unassisted. That's 2 outs for Maddox Houghton. Maddox kind of one of the lone bright spots for the Bison so far. He doubled and scored back in the first and grounded out to third base in the third inning. So he's 1 for 2 on the day and has a run scored. He's batting .304 on the season. He's got the 1 home run that came in the first game of the year and 9 RBI. So 2 outs, bases empty for Maddox Houghton, and Magwood continues to cruise, and he now does have officially his longest outing of the season as he's gone 4 2/3 innings here. Starts him off with a fastball just off the plate, ball 1. Lundgren on deck for the Bisons. Again, the Bisons coming off that big 21-7 win over Tennessee Tech, but the bats have been a little quieter here today. Swings through that one, it's a ball and a strike. And that's the way the game of baseball goes. You have those days where everything looks like a beach ball coming up there, and then those days where hits are harder to come by, and that's what we've seen so far. Here comes the 1-1. Swings and hits that in the air towards left field. It's hitting down towards the line. Maynard lays out but can't get there. It's going to roll past him. Houghton is going to round second. He's going to head all the way. Oh, he falls down at second. He's going to have to retreat. So he had an easy triple there, but he looked like he tripped coming across the bag, and he's going to wind up with a double. So Maynard with a terrific effort. Long run. Laid out to try to get that one. Couldn't get there. It landed behind him, and Maddox Houghton will have his second double of the day. I'm sure he's going to get a fair bit of ribbing from the dugout about he should have been on third with a triple. But bad break for Houghton as he trips going around the base. Coach Forehand out there to check on him and make sure he's okay. He hit the deck pretty hard coming around there. He would have easily gotten into third, I believe, as that ball was rattling around some in the corner. So he's on at second base, and that'll bring up Mason Lundgren. And Lundgren had a single and an RBI in the first and struck out, was called out on strikes in the third. So 1 for 2 on the day for Mason. So the Bison's trying to get a 2-out rally going here in the bottom of the 5th inning, trailing 6-1, and that's a breaking ball. Must have missed low. 1 ball, no strikes. Again, he's shown excellent command of this breaking ball here in the more recent innings. Has Isaiah Magwood, the junior right-hander out of Hazel Green, Alabama. That one's going to stay high, and it'll be 2 balls and no strikes on Lundgren. Malik Williams waiting on deck. So 5 hits now for the Bisons, but only 1 run to show for it. The Gamecocks have 6 runs on 7 hits for the day. Here comes the 2-0. And right stays high as well. It'll be 3-0. So first base is open, and they may be pitching Lundgren a little bit carefully here as he's been red hot for the Bisons. Again, batting .392 on the season, but things don't get a lot easier with Malik Williams on deck. These 2 back-to-back have done a lot of damage for the Bisons this year. Here comes the 3-0. We'll see if they turn him loose. He's not swinging. It's not close. Ball 4. So that'll be the second walk of the day surrendered by Magwood. Again, a little bit of activity down in the bullpen, but nobody really throwing, it doesn't appear at this point for the Gamecocks. And so we are going to have a visit to the mound as Coach Jim Case is going to stroll out and chat with Magwood. So while he does, we'll have a chance to update you again about the upcoming schedule for the Bisons. We mentioned playing here tomorrow at 2 p.m., Sunday at 1 p.m., both of those games on YouTube Live. Then on Tuesday, the Bisons will travel up the road to Louisville, where they'll play a 5 p.m. Central start against the Louisville Cardinals. Again, a single game Louisville midweek. Then next weekend, the Bisons hit the road for their first road conference action. They play a 3-game series in Conway, Arkansas against Central Arkansas. Brand new member of the A-Sun, and there'll be a single game Friday at 6, Saturday at 4, and Sunday at 1. All those are Central Time. You can check lipscombsports.com for broadcast information. After those 3, the Bisons come back and play their annual game at First Horizon Park against Vanderbilt. So a couple of solid midweek opponents in the next 2 weeks, with the Bisons playing Louisville and Vanderbilt, and 2 conference series mixed in with that. So at this point, Isaiah Magwood has thrown 86 pitches on the day, and he faces Malik Williams, and Malik 0 for 1 on the day, or correction, 1 for 1. He's singled and was stranded and was walked. So he's 1 for 1 on the day. Bats with 2 outs and 2 on here in the bottom of the 5th inning. And he looks at a strike through there, 0-1. Malik batting .373 on the season, 4 home runs and 23 RBIs. Both of those lead the team. And he would love to have a big hit here to get the Bisons back in this one as they trail 6-1. That one bounces up there. Dirt ball that does not allow Houghton to advance. Good job there by the catcher Carrignan, keeping that in front of him. Houghton, your runner at second with good speed, although, again, he tripped over the base trying to get to third, so we don't know if he's maybe a little nicked up at the moment. Lundgren, your runner at first. They're not holding him on. And it'll be a 1-ball, 1-strike count on Malik Williams. Rudy Maxwell waiting on deck. Swings and hits that one toward third, and the third baseman Norton is going to glove it for the third out of the inning. And I think Malik will be upset with himself on that one. He chased one up in his eyes and grounds out 5 unassisted for the third out of the inning. So the Bison strand 2 more. That's 6 on the day that they have stranded. In the inning, they do end up with no runs on 1 base hit in addition to those 2 that are stranded. We've played 5 full innings, and your score, Jacksonville State 6 and Lipscomb 1. You're watching Lipscomb Bison's Baseball on YouTube Live. We're headed to the 6th inning. 6 runs, 7 hits, no errors for Jacksonville State. 1 run, 5 hits, and 3 errors for the Bisons. And Patrick Williams is back out for his 3rd inning of work. He's pitched very effectively so far. 2 innings worked, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, 1 strikeout. He's thrown 26 pitches to get through the first 2 innings. And he faces 8, 9, and 1 with Maynard's Alexander in the top of the order, Frederick, to lead off the 6th. Maynard's has had 2 base hits and 2 trips, both singles, and one of them was an RBI. He's also stolen a base, so he's had a solid day today. He's got his average up to 240 now. Joe's bunt pushes it down the third baseline. It's going to go right to Wilhoit, who's going to field it and throw to first, and almost pulled him off the bag, but Williams is able to make a stretch. And for the first time today, they're going to retire Maynard. He bunted his way successfully to first base back in the 3rd inning, but that time he is retired as Wilhoit was playing in a bit and said, "You might have fooled me once on that one, but you're not going to fool me twice." So 1 out now for Isaac Alexander. He has singled and reached on an error. He scored a run and driven in a run, batting .238 on the season, and he swings and hits that one foul at the plate, 0-1. And again, you have to tip your cap a bit, I think, to these Gamecock hitters. They're coming up with a very aggressive approach, being first pitch swinging on most anything they see that's near the zone, fastball or off speed, and that one's going to bounce up there and even the count at a ball and a strike. Gamecocks have really a club that's had a lot of success. 16 30-plus win seasons under Coach Case. And again, we mentioned they won 39 games back in 2019. That's hit on the ground to third. In between hops, gloved by Wilhoit, will throw to first and scooped up by Malik Williams. So nice play on both ends there. That was that in-between hopper, and Wilhoit gloved it. And for the 2nd time this inning, it's a 5-3 ground out, and that'll take us back to the top of the order and Cole Frederick. Frederick has grounded out, been hit by a pitch and scored a run and lined out. So 0 for 2 on the day, has scored a run, batting .233 on the season. We mentioned that 2019 Gamecocks club. They won 39 games, had 22 conference wins, and that's another one hit on the ground. And can he do all 3? Wilhoit feels it, and he will. Trace Wilhoit will single-handedly handle the 6th inning with another 5-3 ground out, but another great inning by Patrick Williams. Nothing doing at all for the Gamecocks in the 6th. We head to the bottom of the 6th. Your score, Jacksonville State 6 and Lipscomb 1. You're watching Lipscomb Bison's Baseball on YouTube Live. To the bottom half of the sixth inning we go. Rudy Maxwell, Trace Wilhoit, and Ethan Stamps will try to get something going for the Bisons against Isaiah Magwood, who has been terrific. Magwood has gone 5 innings, given up 5 hits, just 1 run, 1 earned run. He's walked 2 and struck out 6, and he's thrown 89 pitches so far. As we mentioned, this is his longest outing of the season so far. And there is some activity down in the Gamecocks bullpen. Looks like a right-hander throwing. We can't get a number from our vantage point, but we'll keep an eye on that. So Rudy Maxwell stands in. Tough day so far. He struck out twice swinging in 2 at-bats, and he swings through an off-speed pitch there. No balls and 1 strike on Rudy. Again, Maxwell, the graduate transfer from Duke, Nashville youngster, played his high school ball here at Innsworth High School, and he hits that one high in the air to the right side of the infield. Second baseman Frederick is going over and camping out under it, and he will record the first out of the 6th inning. So that brings up Trace Wilhoit. Trace also having a tough day. He's flown out to left field and got called out on strikes, so 0 for 2 on the day. Batting .273 on the season. 2 homers and 10 RBIs. And again, Magwood gave up 3 hits in the first inning. He's only surrendered 2 since then and has really been in command. And he starts him off with a breaking ball that he'll hit foul back to the screen. No balls and 1 strike. Trace Wilhoit, a 6'3" redshirt freshman out of Georgetown, Kentucky. Played last year at Northwest Florida State, where he was first team all-conference. And he swings through that one. Another off-speed pitch, and he's going to hit it foul. So Magwood's really gone to the off-speed stuff here in the middle innings of this one and seems to be very effective with it. Wilhoit had a couple RBIs and a base hit in that game against Tennessee Tech on Tuesday. That one's going to miss just off the plate. Good spot for that one, but it'll be ball 1. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Trace also had a huge game in the game 3 of the series against Georgia. He was 3 for 5 with a double. And that one's going to bounce up there, and it'll be 2 balls and 2 strikes against Trace Wilhoit. Try to get you some March Madness scores as well while we're on our broadcast here, in case you're driving somewhere and listening to us and wonder what's going on over in the world of March Madness. We'll see what we can get for you there. He checks his swing. He did not go. That one missed off the plate, and that'll run the count full. And again, that has been a rare occurrence for Mr. Magwood today of getting to these 3-ball counts. So 3-2, 1 out, bases empty. Bottom of the 6th, and that's going to be a call strike 3 beauty. And Magwood knew it, and I believe Wilhoit knew it. That will be the 7th strikeout of the day, and the 2nd time that Wilhoit's down on strike. So with 2 outs, Ethan Stamps will stand in. He's been a strikeout victim, and he also flew out, hit a ball well to the gap in left center. So some updated scores from March Madness. Ohio State has beaten Loyola of Chicago 54-41. Miami has upset USC 68-66. Texas Tech has beaten Montana State 97-62. Purdue beat Yale 78-56. Stamps swings through the breaking pitch, 0-1. Auburn has beaten Jacksonville State 80-61. So in basketball action today, the Gamecocks lost in the first round of the NCAA championship to in-state rival Auburn. Villanova has beaten Delaware 80-60, and he's swinging strike 2. And at halftime, Texas leads Virginia Tech 34-32, and in the second half, Notre Dame is leading Alabama 50-42. So there's your March Madness scoreboard. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, bases empty, and that's a breaking ball that's going to stay high, and it'll be a ball and 2 strikes. Bertolani waits on deck. Bisons have only had 1 base runner in the past, or 2 base runners in the past 4 innings. Lays off that one, and it's 2-2. Actually, the past 5 innings. So 4 men batted in the 2nd, 4 in the 3rd, 3 in the 4th, 4 in the 5th, and 2 so far here in the 6th. So Magwood has really done a nice job limiting this Bison's attack, which again scored 21 runs on Tuesday, and that's a breaking ball that he's going to hit high in the air to center field, and Reeves is camped out under it. Now it's going to come in. The wind's going to hold it up, and that will be a 1-2-3 inning for Isaiah Magwood. Nothing doing for the Bisons here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. We've got 6 innings in the books. We head to the 7th. Your score, Jacksonville State 6 and Lipscomb 1. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. We enter the 7th inning, and we've had a pitching change for the Bisons. Patrick Williams' day is done. On the mound will be freshman right-hander Will Newell, 6'7", 230-pounder out of Tallahassee, Florida. And he gets TJ Reeves to swing through an off-speed pitch, no balls and 1 strikes. Newell making just his 5th appearance of the season. Check swing, and they say yes, he did go. So it'll be 0-2. He's worked 3 innings, given up 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, walked 1, struck out 2. No record ERA of 6.00 for Will Newell. He did pitch the 9th inning of the game against Tennessee Tech on Tuesday, and that one's going to miss off the plate for ball 1. So you can close the book on Patrick Williams. Incredibly effective outing for Williams. He goes 3 innings, gives up just 1 hit, no walks and 1 strikeout, and that one's hammered down the left field line. That's going to be extra bases. Maxwell over to cut it off, but Reeves is going to cruise into second base with a double, and once again, another piece of solid hitting from TJ Reeves. Second double on the day. He also reached on an error and walked. So he has been on base 4 straight times for Jacksonville State. And that'll bring up the right fielder Carson Crow. Crow has struck out twice and popped out. So he's 0 for 3 on the day. But terrific outing from Patrick Williams. He ends up facing 9 batters on the day. And a really solid outing. 31 pitches to get through those 3 innings, and that is a very effective outing for Patrick Williams. He swings and hits this into left field, and Maxwell's going to have to field it on a hop. Holding up at second was Reeves to see if it would get down, and so he is unable to advance. And did they call him out? Apparently they have called him out. I have to say that if I was Coach Case, I might really want to see that one. I thought it was pretty clear that the ball hit the ground, but we're going to have a conference here among the 3 umpires. And again, I don't have the benefit from replay from where I'm sitting, so I'm just watching it like all the fans in the stands, but it looked to me pretty clear that that one bounced in front. Maxwell came up with it and bluffed to throw back in. So the umpires will confer on this, and we'll see what the ruling is. Playing in the top of the 7th. Jacksonville State is leading 6-1, and now they're going to say that it hit the ground, but I have no idea why they're sending Reeves to third base, and Coach Jeff Forehand comes out of the dugout as if he's been shot out of a gun. I certainly can understand why Crow is going to be at first base because it looked like the ball hit the ground, but I have no idea why they would advance TJ Reeves to third base unless there was some type of call of interference. So we'll have to get a follow-up ruling on that somewhere. That's a strange play. Again, it's going to go down as the second base hit of the inning. So Crow is going to be on at first and Reeves is going to be at third. But Reeves held up and perhaps he collided with someone as he tried to come off. That's the only thing I can think of is if they called that he was interfered on the base paths. So it's an unusual play, but nonetheless, second hit of the inning. Runners on the corners, and Alex Kerrigan, who has grounded out twice and flied out. And he hits this one hard in the air towards the gap in left center field. That's going to get over everybody's head and off the wall. That's going to score Reeves. They're going to hold the runner at third, and so that'll be 3 straight hits as Kerrigan will go to second with a double, and he'll have an RBI as he drives in Reeves. And they held Crow at third base, and that's a 7-1 lead now for the Gamecocks. So I believe it didn't really end up mattering that Reeves was at third. He would have scored easily on that. That ball was hit well. It went all the way to the wall, and Strachan is going to bat now. And we've got time called here as Coach Forehand is going to ask the infield to come in. So runners at second and third. He's going to bring the infield on the grass. 7-1, Jacksonville State leads, and that's a breaking ball through there for strike 1. Strachan has walked, singled, and scored. He scored when he walked as well and grounded out. So he is 1 for 2 on the day with 2 runs scored, batting .222 on the season. So Bison's infield is in, nobody out. Runners second and third. We're in the top of the 7th inning and 1 home already this inning. And that's hit foul and out of play behind us, 0-2. There's some action down in the Bison's bullpen. That looks like number 22, Matthew Maldonado, starting to throw. So 7 runs, 9 hits now for the Jacksonville State Gamecocks. No errors. The Bisons have 1 run on 5 hits and have committed 3 errors on the day. Runner second, third, nobody out, top of the 7th. And he swings through that one for strike 3. So that'll be the first out of the inning, first strikeout of the day for Will Newell. And that'll bring up Brennan Norton. Norton has singled, grounded out and driven in a run, and singled again. So he's 2 for 3 on the day and has an RBI and a run scored. Is batting .250 on the season. The infield will remain in with 1 out now and runners at second and third. And that's going to be a strike through there. Fastball, 0-1. So Will Newell, true freshman right-hander out of Tallahassee, Florida, trying to get this one and hold it right here. And that's a breaking ball that's going to stay outside. It'll be a ball and a strike. Again, for the Bisons, Caleb Cantola started, went the first 3 innings, and Patrick Williams pitched the second 3 and was terrific in relief. And he's turned it over now to Will Newell here in the 7th. Here comes the 1-1. Off-speed pitch and got him swinging through that one, 1-2. And you'd have to believe that the off-speed can be very effective against this lineup. Again, Jacksonville State very aggressive at the plate, swinging a lot of fastballs early in the count. And so I have to believe that that's a strategy you may see the Bisons employ as we go forward this weekend. Here comes the 1-2, hammered down the line. He was sitting fastball there. He got it, and he hammered it down the line. And so it'll remain a ball and 2 strikes. Derrick Jackson is on deck. Again, we'll give you a check on the scoreboard as we get through this inning here as we update scores with ASUN teams and also area teams who are in action today. Here comes the 1-2. Off-speed pitch is going to stay high, and it'll be 2 balls and 2 strikes. So in area team action, Wofford is leading Belmont now 13-3. That's in the bottom of the 8th. We mentioned earlier Bellarmine has beaten Central Arkansas 4-2. And now in the first inning, Florida Gulf Coast and Stetson are scoreless. Here comes the 2-2, swung on and hit high in the air off to the right side. Williams is going to give it chase, but it's going to make the seats. And the count will remain 2-2. Liberty in North Florida also just underway. That one's at North Florida. Eastern Kentucky and North Alabama should be starting soon. Also tonight, Kennesaw State at Jacksonville. A couple other area teams in action. Middle Tennessee hosting Old Dominion tonight, and Tennessee and South Carolina are scoreless in Knoxville. That one is in the first inning of play. And Bison's midweek opponent, Louisville, is leading 6th-ranked Notre Dame 8-5 in the top of the 5th. Here's the pitch, and he swings through it. It's going to be dropped, but he's going to throw on to first, and that's going to be 2 strikeouts in a row for Will Newell, 2 swinging strikeouts. And it's a big one because that means 2 are out now, and the runners will remain second and third. And that'll bring up Derrick Jackson. Jackson has flied out twice and then lined out into a double play back in the 5th. He hit the ball hard right at third baseman Will Hoyt, who flipped over to first and doubled off Brennan Norton, who was already there as a base runner. So 0 for 3 on the day for Jackson. He's batting .179 on the season. Runner second and third, 2 outs, and he swings and hits this one high in the air. It's out into shallow right field, coming on is Shields, still coming on, and he's going to glove it right behind the infield. So Stamps, the second baseman, looked like he didn't see that one particularly well. He took an unusual route to it, but Shields never stopped, kept running, and was able to corral that for the 3rd out of the inning. But the Gamecocks do add a run on 3 hits. They leave 2 runners. They've stranded 6 on the day, and we're at the 7th inning stretch. Your score, Jacksonville State 7 and Lipscomb 1. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. Seventh inning stretch is in the books. We're headed to the bottom of the seventh. Lipscomb trailing Jacksonville State 7-1, and starter Isaiah Magwood's day is done. The new pitcher for the Gamecocks is the sophomore right-hander Reed Fagerstrom, 6'1", 200-pounder out of Noonan, Georgia, and Northgate High School. Fagerstrom is making his fifth appearance. He started 3 games. He's worked 14 1/3 innings. He has a record of 0-1 and a 7.53 ERA. In 14 1/3 innings, he's given up 18 hits, 12 runs, 12 earned, 10 walks, and 21 strikeouts. Opponents batting .295 against Fagerstrom. So a terrific start for Isaiah Magwood. He ends up going 6 innings, giving up 5 hits, 1 run. It was earned, 2 walks, and 7 strikeouts. And so, you know, that Coach Case and the coaching staff will be very, very pleased by the start out of Magwood today. And the Bisons will send up Chaz Bertolani to start things off against the new pitcher. And he looks at a fastball outside for ball 1. Chaz has grounded out and struck out 0 for 2 on the day. 8, 9, and 1 due up here for the Bisons, who have just 5 hits on the day. That's going to be through there for a strike, a ball and a strike. That one's going to skip up there, and it'll be 2 and 1. So Fagerstrom was Jacksonville State's opening day starter, their season opener against Kentucky. He ended up going 4 innings, gave up 5 hits, 4 runs, 4 earned, walk 1, struck out 7. That was his new career high in strikeouts. Bertolani swings, hits this one in towards the gap in left center field. Diving play, and he got it. Mainers, great catch there. Robs Bertolani of a base hit. Tip your cap to Mainers there. Terrific diving catch by Mason Mainers in left center field. He laid out and never missed a beat in getting that one, and so he is going to retire Bertolani as the first out of the inning. Mainers made a diving attempt earlier on a ball that Maddox Houghton hit, but couldn't quite catch up to it. But that time he makes a fine play. It's the first out of the inning, and Caleb Ketchup will bat. Ketchup singled up the middle in his first at-bat and then lined out in the second at-bat. He's hit the ball hard twice, and he checks his swing and takes a strike. So since that opening day start, Fagerstrom worked 4 innings at Southern Miss, 3 against Siena, and 3.1 against South Alabama. And that one's going to bounce up there, and it'll be a ball and a strike. Last 2 times he's been out in 3 innings against Siena, he gave up 4 runs, 4 earned. And then in South Alabama, 3 innings, 3 runs. All 3 were earned. Checks his swing and takes that one high, and it'll be 2 balls and a strike. Last year, Fagerstrom made 5 appearances, all in relief, gave 4 innings, 6 walks, 3 strikeouts. Did collect 1 win. That's hit high in the air towards shallow right field, and Frederick is waving everybody off. The wind pushes it back to the infield, and that's going to be the second out of the inning. So we're back to the top of the order, John Shields, and John, you have to get on track today. He's fouled out twice and grounded out 0 for 3 on the day. We do want to send a special birthday wishes to Assistant Director of Baseball Operations, Madeline Hoswell at Lipscomb. Today is her birthday, so happy birthday, Madeline, from the Lipscomb baseball family. I'm sure she'd love to see the Bisons put a few runs up for a present, but it won't happen here. Shields hits the ball to the first baseman, Strachan, who's going to record an unassisted putout. And that's 3 up and 3 down for the Bisons. Nothing doing in the bottom of the 7th. We have played 7 full innings, and your score, Jacksonville State 7 and Lipscomb 1. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. To the top of the 8th inning we go. 7 runs, 9 hits, no errors for Jacksonville State. 1 run, 5 hits, 3 errors for Lipscomb. And Will Newell back out for his 2nd inning of work. He gave up 1 run in the top of the 7th, and he'll face 8, 9, and 1 with Mainers, Alexander, and Cole Frederick. Mainers, the young man who just made a terrific play in left field in the bottom of the 7th inning, and he swings and hits the first pitch in the air to right field. It's going to hold up for Shields, who's going to keep coming in and glove it for the first out of the inning. So 1 out, 1 pitch for Will Newell. That'll bring up Isaac Alexander, the shortstop, who has singled and driven in a run, reached on an error and grounded out. And he takes a breaking ball through there for strike 1. So Gamecocks put up 5 runs in the 2nd, scored a single run in the 3rd and 1 in the 7th. But it was that 5-run 2nd that really blew things open for this one, and that one's going to miss in the dirt. It'll be a ball and a strike. In that inning, they had 4 base hits, a walk, and a hit by pitch, and also aided by well, actually, there were no Bison's errors in that inning, correction. So that one misses downstairs, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Top of the order, and Frederick is on deck. That's a breaking ball in there for strike 2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes. Will Newell working his 2nd inning here. Caleb Cantola's start, went the first 3. Then we saw Patrick Williams for 3 terrific relief innings, and now Will Newell for his 2nd inning of relief. And he gets set to bring the 2-2 pitch, and just missed inside. The count will go full on Isaac Alexander. Still seeing a little stretching and moving around in the Bison's bullpen, but nobody's throwing yet. So payoff pitch from Newell. Swings and misses, strike 3. Good pitch there. Look, he pulled the string on a changeup. And he got him swinging. That'll be the 3rd strikeout for Newell in his inning and 2/3. And we're to the top of the order, and Cole Frederick. Cole's grounded out twice. He lined out to shortstop. He was hit by a pitch and scored a run. He bats with 2 outs and the base is empty. And he hits this one high in the air to left field. Looking up is Maxwell, still looking up. He's at the wall. Gone. Home run. That ball was hit a mile high, and it just kept going and kept going, and that is going to be a home run for Cole Frederick. That'll be his 2nd home run on the season, and he now extends the Gamecocks' lead to 8-1. So that brings up TJ Reeves, and he has been a thorn in the side of the Bisons all day long. 4 at-bats, and he's been on base all 4 times. He's walked, doubled, and driven in 2 runs, reached on an error, and doubled again. He hits this one toward Will Hoyt, in between hops, picks it up and throws to first. And that'll be the 3rd out of the inning. So for the first time of the day, all day, they're able to keep Reeves off the base pass. But the Gamecocks go back and add a run on 1 hit. There were no errors and no one left on base. We're headed to the home half of the 8th inning, and your score, Jacksonville State 8 and Lipscomb 1. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. We're headed to the home half of the 8th inning. Lipscomb trailing Jacksonville State 8-1, and it'll be Maddox Houghton, Mason Lundgren, and Malik Williams to face Reed Fagerstrom. Fagerstrom on in his second inning of relief. He pitched a 1-2-3 inning in the bottom of the 7th, and the Bisons running out of chances here, as they've got 6 outs to work with, and that's a fastball that's going to miss off the plate. 1 ball and no strikes. Maddox has doubled twice, scored a run, and grounded out, so he's had a solid day. He's got his average up to 316 on the season. Going to take an off-speed pitch in there for a strike, a ball and a strike. One of those doubles would have been a triple, but he fell down, tripped across second base as he was rounding it, and had to settle for 2 on that one. Here comes the 1-1. Swings through that one, and it's 1-2. His first double went down the right field line all the way to the right field corner. His second one went down the left field line past the diving Mainers. So he's used all parts of the ballpark here, but he's down 1 ball and 2 strikes. And he swings through an off-speed pitch there for a swinging strike 3. That's 8 strikeouts on the day for the Gamecock pitchers. First of the day for Fagerstrom. That'll bring up Mason Lundgren. Mason's driven in the only run of the day for the Bisons with a single way back in the first inning. He's also walked and struck out. Batting .392 now on the season, and he looks at that one downstairs. 1 ball and no strikes. Mason now up to 13 RBIs on the season, 20 hits and 51 trips. So he's having a terrific start to his Bison's career. And looks at that one on the inside corner for a strike. And just almost like that, the clouds have cleared away. The sun's back out at Dugan Field. Again, we're expecting some potential bad weather this evening, but at the moment, bright sunny skies. And that's going to be a breaking ball that'll miss down and away. 2 balls and 1 strike. Lights are still on at the park here, but beautiful conditions right now, and the wind is still blowing out of the center field towards the left field line. That one just missed off the corner, and that'll take the count to 3-1. Malik Williams is on deck for the Bisons. It's been a quiet offensive day for the Bisons. Again, the single run back in the first and only 5 hits overall. And that's hit off the fist towards second over to Glovetus Frederick. He takes a couple of steps, throws, and not in time. Sort of had trouble getting that one out of his glove. We'll see how they score it on the play. As the ball was hit softly off the fist right back up the middle. And they are going to call that an error, so tough luck error there. But that'll be the first error of the day against the Gamecocks, and it will put a runner at first for 1 out, Malik Williams, and Malik has singled, walked, and grounded out on the day, extending his hit streak to 10 games with a single back in the first inning. So he'll bat with 1 out and a runner on at first, bottom of the 8th. Jacksonville State leading 8-1, and that's an off-speed pitch, 0-1. Malik's seen a heavy dose of off-speed pitches today from these Gamecock pitchers. I think it's pretty clear what their scouting report says about him. He is batting .368 on the season. He's got 4 homers and 23 RBIs. Another off-speed pitch, checked his swing, and it's a strike as well. So they continue to serve up a very steady dose of breaking pitches to Malik Williams. And with an 0-2 count here, if he sees a fastball, I got to believe it's off the plate. It's been a big zone all day, and so we'll see how they elect to pitch him. Second baseman Frederick has shifted up the middle. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. And he swings and fouls a slider back. That one was a little more over the plate than the first 2 had been. So the count will remain no balls and 2 strikes. Rudy Maxwell on deck. Same 2 teams tomorrow, 2 p.m. Central Time start. We'll be on the air at approximately 1:55 Central Time here on YouTube Live if you can't make it out. We do invite you to come out to the ballpark and catch game 2 of this series between these 2 teams. As we await the 0-2, and he swings through that one for strike 3. That'll be the second strikeout of the inning, second strikeout overall for Fagerstrom, and that'll bring up Rudy Maxwell, and Rudy's had a tough day as well. 2 strikeouts and popped out. So 0 for 3 on the day, and batting with 2 outs and a runner at first. And just like that, the game of baseball, the Bisons had 21 runs they put up on Tuesday, and today they've only managed 1. One of the beautiful and frustrating things about this game, it varies so much day to day. There's a tall strike, 0-1 to Maxwell. Will Hoyt waits on deck. Projected starter for tomorrow for the Bisons will be left-hander Logan Van Treek. That's hit hard, foul down the third baseline. Just missed extra bases there. Logan Van Treek predicted to be the starter for the Bisons tomorrow. And on Saturday, it's right-hander Tanner Jones projected to go for the Gamecocks. So it's a no-ball, two-strike count on Rudy Maxwell. We'll see if Fagerstrom goes back to that off-speed pitch that he's been throwing effectively. He does, and he gets his third. Oh, he just got a piece of it. Thought he threw it by him, but Rudy fouled it off. That one hung up a bit. He just got a piece of it. Looks like a slider that he's throwing in there. And that also caught a piece of Carignan behind the plate. He's going to take a minute and gather himself here. So the home plate umpire, Stephen Hagan's going to go out and allow him a moment. The training staff's going to come out and take a look at him. While he does, we can tell you again some numbers from last year. Jacksonville State was 26-27 overall. They were 16-14 in the Ohio Valley Conference. They missed out on the OVC tournament for the first time ever under Coach Case. They had finished tied for fourth. Only the top four teams in the OVC make the tournament, and so they missed out on a tiebreaker with Austin Peay. However, they did have four players on the All-OVC team last year. Carignan, the catcher, was one for the second time in a row. And also they had Alex Webb, Christian Edwards, and Corley Woods. And Edwards was selected in the Major League Draft by the Chicago White Sox, the 11th round. The junior pitcher became the third time in the last 4 seasons that the Gamecocks have had someone drafted. So again, a program with a lot of success under Coach Case, and last year a little bit of an atypical year for them. But we're back to baseball here. The count's no balls, 2 strikes on Rudy Maxwell, 2 outs. Runner on at first is Mason Lundgren, bottom of the 8th, and Jacksonville State leading 8-1. And he swings and just gets a piece of a fastball and fouls it out of play. The count will remain no balls and 2 strikes. We mentioned Jacksonville State picked 4th in the conference preseason, so there's a lot of high regard for this team from the coaches. They've been off to a tough start, but played a really tough schedule, and you can see that there's obvious talent, a lot of senior leadership, solid defense, and timely hitting from this team. And Maxwell hits it on the ground to shortstop. Alexander's going to flip to second, and they will retire Lundgren there on the fielder's choice for the 3rd out of the inning. So the Bisons strand a runner. They don't have a hit in the inning. There was 1 error committed by the Gamecocks, and the Bisons have now stranded a total of 7 on the day. We're headed to the 9th inning, and your score, Jacksonville State 8 and Lipscomb 1. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. We head to the top half of the 9th inning, and Will Newell is back out on the mound for his 3rd inning of work. The freshman has gone 2 innings. He's given up 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned. Hasn't walked anybody, struck out 3. He'll face the heart of the order with Crow, Carignan, and Strachan for the Gamecocks. Crow, one of 2 lefties in the lineup, and Newell will start him off with a pitch that stays outside for ball 1. Crow has struck out, popped out, struck out, and singled. 1 for 4 on the day and batting .200 on the season. Big shift on. You can see the shortstop catch up all the way on the first base side of second, and that's bounced on the ground towards Malik Williams. He's going to field it. He's going to flip to Newell covering, and those PFPs come in handy there. That's going to be a 3-1 ground out for the 1st out of the inning. So that'll bring up the catcher, Carignan. Carignan has grounded out twice, flied out, and singled and driven in a run on the day. 1 for 4, now batting .214 on the season. Got 5 RBIs on the season with that 1 RBI today. And he checks his swing, but did go through on that breaking ball from Newell. So Newell showing us a much more effective breaking ball today than we've seen in some of his other outings today. He's obviously got the power fastball, but he's showing some feel for that breaking ball. That fastball is going to miss and go back to the screen. It'll be a ball and a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Bases empty. Top of the 9th inning. Jacksonville State leading 8-1. Game 1 of a 3-game series here on the A-Sun opening weekend between these two Western Division teams. And here comes the 1-1. Swung on and tapped foul. That was an off-speed pitch that he got in front of. So the count will be a ball and 2 strikes. Same two teams tomorrow. 2 p.m. Central start. Comes the 1-2 pitch from Newell. That's a breaking ball. It's going to stay high, 2-2. The Gamecocks, after the series here, will go home and host Samford on Tuesday and then play at Mercer on Wednesday. Then they host North Alabama next weekend in their second weekend of conference play. Swung on and missed. 4th strikeout for Will Newell as he gets him to chase an off-speed pitch there. So 2 outs, bases empty, and it'll bring up Strachan. Strachan has walked and scored, singled and scored, grounded out, and struck out. 4 strikeouts now for Will Newell in 2 2/3. So Strachan 1 for 3 and scored a couple runs on the day. Swings and fouls that one out of play, 0-1. So as we mentioned, Jacksonville State 2 midweek games this week with Samford, and then on the road at Mercer, host North Alabama. Then they go to Auburn for a midweek game, and then they host Eastern Kentucky. So they've got 2 home series in a row for A-Sun play on the weekends upcoming. That's a breaking ball that'll miss outside, and that'll make the count a ball and a strike. Bisons, as we mentioned, on the road at Louisville for the midweek, and then on the road to Central Arkansas next weekend. That one's going to miss inside and low, 2-1. They then play Vanderbilt at First Horizon Park, and they're on the road at Bellarmine, followed by a road game at Tennessee. So longest stretch of road games for the season for the Bisons. They played 9 games in a row away from Dugan Field after they complete this weekend series. Here comes the 2-1. That's going to miss inside as well, and the count goes to 3-1. Norton waits on deck if Strachan can reach here. Game's moving right along. We're just 2 hours and 20 minutes into it. Here comes the 3-1, and that's just off the plate, ball 4. So that'll be the first walk of the day for Will Newell, and that will bring up Brennan Norton, the third baseman. Norton has single, scored a run. He grounded out and drove in a run. He just had another single and then struck out swinging. So 2 for 4 on the day, scored a run and driven in a run, batting .246 on the season. And for those of you wondering at home, and I know many of you are, Strachan does not have a stolen base. You wouldn't expect him to be running here. It's 8-1 in the 9th inning. Has an off-speed pitch, and Norton about swung out of his shoes, but he missed it. He took a big hack at that one. Again, I think that's a changeup that Newell is used very effectively here today. So no balls and 1 strike against Norton. Derrick Jackson on deck for the Gamecocks. Swung on and hit down the left field line. That's going to get towards the corner. Strachan is going to round second. He's going to head to third. They're going to hold him up there as Maxwell gets it back in, and it's going to be a double for Brendan Norton. So that's the 11th base hit on the day for the Gamecocks. They've had hits in 6 of the 9 innings, and we're going to have a trip out to the mound from pitching coach Matt Myers. And as he does, he goes out to talk to the freshman right-hander Will Newell. We'll try to get you an update here on some March Madness scores. With 1:15 left, Notre Dame's leading Alabama 76-62. So it looks like the Crimson Tide are going to go down in the tournament first round. 7 minutes left in the second half. Texas leading Virginia Tech 61-47. Villanova's beaten Delaware 80-60. Auburn beat Jacksonville State 80-61. Purdue beat Yale 78-56. Texas Tech over Montana State 97-62. Miami upset USC 68-66, and Ohio State defeated Loyola Chicago 54-41. Lots more action in March Madness going on later tonight. Derrick Jackson Jr. stands in. He's flied out 3 times and lined into a double play, so he's hit the ball hard. Doesn't have a lot to show for it yet today. He bats with 2 outs and runners on second and third, and that's a breaking ball that's going to stay way outside. 1 ball, no strikes. 0 for 4 on the day for Jackson, but again, he had a ball like a rocket down to Trace Wilhoit back in the 5th, but Trace was right there to glove it and double off the runner at first. So 3 flyouts and a line drive out off the bat of Jackson today, but he has a chance to do some damage here. Runner second and third, 2 outs, and looks like Newell's going to go from the windup. And that one's going to bounce up there as well, and it'll be 2 balls and no strikes. No activity really to speak of in the Bison's bullpen. There are a few people walking and stretching, but it looks like this will be Newell's game to finish here. Here comes the 2-0. This is way outside, gets away from Bertolani, but not far enough to advance the runners. And so Newell's lost a little feel for the zone here. 3 balls, no strikes. Mason Mainers waits on deck for the Gamecocks. Newell, the 3rd Bison's pitcher who's worked today. Caleb Cantola went the first 3. Patrick Williams was terrific in relief in the next 3, and now Newell is on with 2 2/3 under his belt. That's a breaking ball in there, and that's a tough pitch asking a freshman to execute, and he does very well. A 3-0 count, and he threw that looked like changeup in there. So it's 3-1, not giving in to Jackson with the runners on second and third. So here comes the 3-1. Another changeup, swings through it again. So tip your cap to Newell. Opportunity for growth. You look at the situation in the game. Obviously, it's going to be difficult for the Bisons to rally, but Coach Matt Myers really trying to teach and help this young freshman learn and execute some pitches in these situations. So 3 balls, 2 strikes. Runners at second and third. It's another changeup, and that one's going to bounce up there. So that's a base on balls. And that'll be the second walk surrendered by Newell. Second walk of this inning. And Bertolani's going to go out and chat with him for a second. Bases are going to be loaded, and that's going to bring up Mason Mainers, the left fielder, who has singled and driven in a run, singled and stole a base, grounded out while trying to bunt, and flied out. So he is 2 for 4 on the day with an RBI and scored a run. 222 on the season is his batting average. And home plate umpire Stephen Hagan is going to go out there and say, hey, come on, guys, let's get this going. The rain might be coming tonight. Bertolani is going to flip the card in. It looks like there was an extra card that might have come off. Not sure why they got rid of the card there. Usually, well, it must have been an extra one because I do see Newell looking at the card on his wrist. So I'm not sure where the extra card came from, but regardless, here's the pitch, swing, and that's going to drive a run in. Actually, 2 runs are going to come in and score as they wave Norton in, and that's 10 runs. So really bad luck for the Bisons there. A check swing off the bat of Maynard. Didn't even mean to swing at it, but hit it just over the head of shortstop Ketchup into left field. Runners obviously going with 2 outs. And so that's going to go down as a base hit and 2 more runs scored. But tough luck there. Mainers was trying to check his swing, but instead he'll have his second and third RBIs of the day. And now with runners at first and second and Jacksonville State leading 10-1, it's Isaac Alexander. And it looks like that might be all for Will Newell as Coach Jeff Forhan is on his way to the mound. And so we're going to have a pitching change. We'll step aside while the new pitcher comes in, and we'll tell you all about it when we come back. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. The new Bison's pitcher is the junior right-hander Matthew Maldonado, 6 foot tall, 204-pounder out of Seguin, Texas. Maldonado making his 6th appearance on the season. He's worked 3 2/3 innings, 4 hits, 6 runs, 5 are earned, 5 walks, 5 strikeouts. And Maldonado will be called upon to get the last out here. There are 2 outs, runners at every base for the Gamecocks. They've already pushed 2 more across this inning, and they lead 10-1. So Maldonado on in relief of Newell with 2 outs and the bases juiced. And Isaac Alexander batting. He's 1 for 4 on the day with a single and a run driven in, and he swings and hits the first pitch high in the air off to the right side. Malik Williams is drifting over, and he's going to catch it. And Maldonado is going to make 1 pitch and get 1 out as he comes in and does his job to get the Bisons out of a big jam. So there were 3 left on base for the Gamecocks for the day. They've now stranded a total of 9. But they do score 2 more runs on 2 hits. There were no Bisons errors. And we head to the bottom of the 9th inning. It's going to take a miracle, but last chance for the Bisons as Jacksonville State leads Lipscomb 10-1. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. To the bottom half of the 9th inning we go. Pitching change for the Gamecocks. The junior right-hander Trevor Andrews, a 6'3", 205-pounder out of Theodore, Alabama, via Coastal Alabama North Community College, is going to come on. Andrews making his 6th appearance on the season. He's worked 6 1/3 innings, given up 11 runs, 6 hits, 6 earned, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, an 8.53 ERA with no record. Opponents batting .379 against him. Bisons are going to send up 6, 7, and 8. Will Hoyt, Stamps, and Bertolani, and last chance for Lipscomb, who's been quiet since the first inning when they scored 1-1. They have only 5 hits on the day. So you can close the book on Fagerstorm here, and we'll do so in just a moment. And that's going to miss inside for ball 1 against Trace Wilhoit. Trace on the day struck out twice and flied out, so he's had a tough day. Fagerstrom ends up going 2 innings, no hits, no runs, no walks, 2 strikeouts. So a good outing for Fagerstrom on in relief of the starter Magwood, who was terrific through the first 6. That misses inside as well, and it's 2-0. Magwood went 6 innings, gave up 5 hits, 1 run, 1 earned, walked 2, struck out 7. So 2 solid pitching appearances for the Gamecocks here to start this series. The 2-0 almost hit him. It's 3-0. So Will Hoyt, Stamps, Bertolani for the last chance for the Bisons, who trail 10-1 here in the bottom half of the 9th inning. That one's right through there for a strike, 3-1. So got to be impressed with this Jacksonville State club. Got great starting pitching today. Solid relief pitching so far. They've played really good defense. They've run the bases well, and they've had timely hitting. So they've excelled in all phases of the game. Here comes the 3-1. Swung on and hit foul, and that'll run the count full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Gamecocks have showed a really aggressive approach at the plate. They've come up there swinging early in the count, swinging at fastballs. On the flip side, they've thrown a lot of breaking balls to these Bison hitters today and have been very effective in doing so. Here comes the 3-2. Swung on and hit high in the air in the infield, or actually just behind it. And Alexander is going back, and he's in shallow center. And tough play. Has to look up in the sun and grab that one, but he'll catch it for the first out of the inning. So Will Hoyt's retired, and that'll bring up Ethan Stamps. Stamps Drove a ball hard into the gap in the second inning in left center field, but was caught, struck out, and then popped out into center field in the sixth inning. So 0 for 3 on the day for Ethan. Now batting .294 on the season. Again, red hot last weekend. Batted .500 against Georgia. Had a couple home runs on Sunday. Looks at an off-speed pitch in there for strike one. Swings and fouls that one off his foot, and quickly he is behind. No balls and 2 strikes. That one's going to miss outside, and that'll take the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes. So coming in, Lipscomb was second in the A-Sun Conference with a .292 team batting average before today, second in RBIs as well. Jacksonville State was 11th in the conference at .232, but the tables have been turned today. That's a breaking ball that's going to bounce up there. It'll be 2-2. As we said, every day is a different day at the ball yard here. Lipscomb had really been hitting it well. A strong offensive output. Lipscomb and Jacksonville State were actually almost even in the earned run average department coming in to today's game. Here comes the 2-2, swung on and also hit high in the air. It's going to stay in the infield. Again, Alexander is calling everybody off, and just like that, a repeat of the first out of the inning, and the Bisons are down to their final out of the day. And that's going to be in the person of Chaz Bertolani. Bertolani has grounded out, struck out, and flied out on the day. So again, the Bisons had 15 hits and scored 21 runs against Tennessee Tech on Tuesday. Today, 1 run on 5 hits. That one's going to miss high, and it'll be 1 ball and no strikes. Ketchup waits on deck, but Bertolani, last hope for the Bisons, trailing 10-1, bottom of the 9th inning. Here comes the 1-0. Swings through something off speed there. It's 1-1. Still got that strong southerly wind blowing, but again, the sun has peeked out and the clouds have parted, so great weather for the end of this one. We're expecting good weather for the next 2 games as well. 2 balls, 1 strike to Chaz Bertolani. Have gone final that Wofford has beaten Belmont 14-5, and Chaz is going to hit one straight back. I see if that's going to make the screen. I don't think it will, and so 3 straight pop-outs for the inning for the Bisons, and the last one will be the 3rd out of the game. Nothing doing for the Bisons here in the 9th inning. So game 1 of this series will go to the Gamecocks. The final line score for the game will be 10 runs on 12 hits and 1 error. The Bisons, meanwhile, will score only 1 run on 5 hits, and they'll have 3 errors on the day. Our time of the game is 2 hours and 37 minutes. We'll give you a quick recap. The Bisons got on the board first in the first inning as Maddox Houghton doubled and scored on a base hit single off the bat of Mason Lundgren. Bison's got 2 more hits in the, or 1 more hit in the inning, but they ended up stranding a couple of runners as the starter Isaiah Magwood was able to work his way out of that one. Jacksonville State went quickly to work in the second inning. They had a leadoff walk, followed by a base hit, an RBI base hit, another RBI base hit, a hit by pitch, and a 2-run double off the bat of TJ Reeves. And Jacksonville State had jumped out to a 5-1 lead they would never relinquish. The Gamecocks added another run in the 3rd, leadoff base hit from Strachan, who advanced to second on an error, or throwing error, then to 3rd on a wild pitch, and scored on an RBI groundout from Brennan Norton. No scoring until the 7th inning when a single run was put up. There was a double off the bat of Reeves. He was driven over off the single off the bat of Crow, and then an RBI single from Carignan, and the Gamecocks had stretched their lead out at that point to 7-1. They added a single run in the 8th inning on a solo home run off the bat of Cole Frederick, And then they scored 2 more runs after 2 were out in the 9th inning. They started with a walk, followed by a double off the bat of Norton, another walk, and then a 2 RBI single off the bat of Mason Mainers. And that added up to 10 runs on the day for the Gamecocks, as the Bisons were unable to mount any kind of offensive threat at all after scoring in that first inning. So the winning pitcher will be Isaiah Magwood. He'll go to 2-0 on the season. The loss will go to Caleb Cantola. He will be 1-2 on the season. Reminder, folks, that the next action for Lipscomb baseball will be tomorrow, March 19th, when the Bisons will again face the Jacksonville State Gamecocks. The first pitch is scheduled for 2 p.m., and that will be our next broadcast for Lipscomb baseball. Again, we'll be on the air at approximately 1:55 p.m. Central Time here on YouTube Live. Our special thanks to Lipscomb Athletic Director Philip Hutchison, to Associate Athletic Director for External Relations Brent McMillan, the Assistant Athletic Director for Communications Kirk Downs, and the Assistant Director for Athletic Communications Hannah Jo Riley. On behalf of our entire crew today, this is Doc Allen saying thanks for your time this time, and until next time, so long. You've been watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live.